Hello, hey baddies. Oh, this is a weird sight to behold, but I'm so excited about it.
Want a Sprite cranberry?
Oh my gosh, perp! Wait, just the Sprite cranberry. There it is. Yeah! Thanks for subbing, perp. You are my main homie forever. Ride or die, perp is here for me. We're just a couple of perps over here. Oh, the last song that played, may or may not, that is absolutely my favorite Homestuck song ever. I love this song and the silly little Blues Clues music that plays with it. Yeah, we're ride or die. Yay! Let me move myself slightly. Look, I have the dragging physics on, so. You're so fucking ready for Homestuck nonsense? Me too! I'm so excited. I've been wanting to play this funny little dating sim for a long time. But today I gave myself a reason to. And for that, I'm so excited. Yeah, I get ragdolled all around. If you're wondering, this song is called Clown Fucker. So, just sort of like, register that. I don't think we'll be able to meet this guy tonight. This is Marvis's song. The big sexy boy clown with the long hair. I want to meet him. But I don't think... I'm guessing he's a little bit later? I don't know. Before we start funny little troll game, I do want to express my history. My history with the webcomic, because I think it's quite funny. I think everybody had their own experience with just sort of the comic of Homestuck. It was, if you were around in the like early to mid 2010s, it had some sort of effect on your life. I got into it, I'm fairly sure, for a crush. I think that's how a lot of people got into it, is that their like high school crush or whatever was into Homestuck, and they were like, I'm gonna try reading it too so I can impress them. The only thing is, I have no patience. I have zero patience. I think I got about 50 pages into Homestuck, and then I was like, where are the funny little aliens with the gray skin and the horns? This is boring. And I just started inputting random numbers in the top of the page and just sort of looking at the images every 50 pages and then like every like 100 pages. And then I was just putting in like random numbers. I'm not I'm not the most literate Homestuck fan, but I do know a lot about trolls. Don't ask how. I have a very distinct core memory of accidentally inputting a random number, you know, flipping through 100 pages. One of the random numbers I inputted was the funny little flash game where Nepeta dies. I was like, I love the cute little cat. She's still my favorite. But it was the little Gamzee mini game where you're walking around and you're in the vents and all of that stuff. I remember that very vividly. You got into it after making a friend in detention who had a ton of Homestuck stuff on their phone. See, it's just like it was infectious. You just like knew somebody in school who got into it. Word of mouth. Like obviously there was no advertisement for this stuff. It was a virus. You got ripped off because you read the whole damn thing several times. You started reading in 2010. I mean, that's the thing. When I started reading, I think it was on one of many hiatuses, and when it came back, it was like Beta Kids, and I actually did read a fair bit of it when the Beta Kids stuff started happening, and like I was actually keeping up with it, and I remember lots of really funny moments and the site breaking and all that kind of stuff. I absolutely adore Roxy. Roxy is definitely, I would say Roxy is my favorite character, which comes as no surprise. Just sort of to the way that I carry myself. But Nepeta is my favorite troll. You cosplayed Nepeta in high school. Destroyed a blue body pillow to make the tail. The things we do for love. I definitely helped make like clay horns. I think I made ones for... I remember at least making ones for Solix, because I remember my crush was going to cosplay Solix, or at least like partially cosplay Solix, or maybe we were just making it for fun. I don't know. I remember he had like painted sunglasses, not sunglasses, but he painted the Solix glasses. You know, the red and the blue? He did that. And I remember that. He's also kind of a nerd, so those nerd boys, they latched on to Solix for sure. The magic 3D glasses, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I'm super excited about this game, and to make an extra game on top of this game, I want to hear people's funny troll names. I want to hear your funny, valid troll names. I've been thinking about them all day because I thought about my own. Obviously, I'm Jersey Beezy with Beezy made extra long by throwing some E's in there. It's still pronounced the same. But just thinking about like celebrities out there that have valid troll names. You got your Billie Eilish, Austin Powers, Andrew Hussey himself. All of them have valid troll names. Other notable examples, Sussus Amogus. That was a good one I thought of. And Modded Skyrim. I would like to meet a troll named Modded Skyrim. I think that would be good. He would be a cool guy. Oh, Pickle nodded. I also thought of Minion Banana. Because I've got minions on the brain. Notable one that I wrote down here. Spooky Dookie. Just let me check my list here. Heterosexual. Obi-Wan Kenobi. VTuber TikTok. That one's really good too. So if you come up with any good ones during this, I would love to hear it. It's so fun. Little Meow Meow. Blorbo my show. If only Blorbo Bleebus would fit. I guess you could take an E out. I don't know. Put an accent on it. There's a lot of fun to be had there. But I know that I really, really want to get into this game. So I am going to get into this game. I've got it. I'm going to pause this song, which is called An ASCII Image of Bowsette. And I'm going to get started. I really don't know what I'm in for with this game. Let me zoom on over to my main scene. Haha. I should probably move myself over here a little bit more. Is the clown going to be my new Blorbo? Probably. For almost definitely. I mean, there's a lot of clowns that I've seen the designs for that are definitely hot Blorbo contenders. Your wife says that they stopped reading Homestuck after Nepeta died because that was also his favorite. Oh yeah. I think I played that little flash game and I put it down for like a couple of days. I was like, that was my favorite. You killed the little kitty cat. You also like the baby clown troll. I like all of the clowns in this. I think they are all really fun designs, and partially the reason why I've made my troll Sona a clown. I'm also a clown because I'm just here for your entertainment. I muted everything. Okay, now it's unmuted. We'll see if I have to like adjust the audio up any more. So far it seems sort of on the quiet side. But I don't know if it's gonna get any louder. I'm just gonna preemptively give myself a little bit of wiggle room here. Dr. Pepper is a really good troll name. That's really good. I like that a lot. I really like that. I love how the text speed is automatically super, super fucking fast. 'Cause that's how I want it, baby. I read so fast. All right, let's get started. Oh, I also should say that I love any and all of the trolls who are like bitches. I love Avriska. I love Mina. Just like I love a baddie. I love a bad girl, a girl boss, if you will. I love them. We support queens in this stream. Anyways. also like that we're just like a little guy. Okay, so we can see who's all in here. Where? Here he is. Him. We support women's rights, but most of all, we support their wrongs.
What?
My BOGOs. Perp! I need those. They fell out of my... Whoa! These are some hotties, too. I think they, like, hired some kind of artist that, just makes them real sexy. I don't know. Maybe they just got better at drawing. I don't know. Drawing sexy people. Of Bloodthirst and Bratwurst. Oh boy. The Jade Bloods is also all very sexy. Yes, I also... Where is he? Where... There's also many, like, big lady. Him. This... Duh. You know enough having dated a recovered Homestuck to know, to ask what my blood color is. It's purple! See, it's on my shirt. It's on my eyes. I'm a fucking clown! It's a little honk. I should have set up a little honk. I forgot to set up a honk. Next time, I'll have a little... Instead, I'll just hand out Sprite cranberries, and you'll have to accept that. But I'm here for your entertainment, and that makes me a clown. Also, dubiously violent, so... Yeah, so the sexy ones, like, I don't expect myself to get to volume 10 on the first night, but, like, that's when it's getting real. Do you love me a punk or a goth dude, even if they're, like, the worst person? I am here for alt boys, I'm here for alt girls, I'm here for alt NBs, and just, like, it just... Ooh! And big woman! And big woman! There's so many big women in this game. You have no idea. You have no idea. And we get to be a little Blorbo. Just crash landed on a planet called Alternia. Aha! And staggered from the smoldering wreckage of your ship. Volume 18 is so far away. We're gonna have to work for it. We're now completely alone in a strange world, desperate for information, for provisions, and possibly a bit of medical attention. But most of all, you are desperate for friendship. Ah! Want someone on this godforsaken rock be your buddy? Any weirdo will do. You're not that picky. Hang on, what's this now? Is someone approaching? Ooh. Hot dog. Hot dog. I think I like the this is a cute little weirdo. Hot dog head. Hot dog, hot diggity dog. It's a brand new day. What you waiting for? I like the double eyes. I think that's cool. Yes, someone is approaching a strange gray-skinned alien. Where's the music? Where'd the music go? Are we getting it now? Gray-skinned alien clad in blue. Perhaps they will make for a good friend. Oh, there we go. His horns were sausages. Dear God, and just what are you supposed to be? Your stammering reply eventually conveys that you are a lost traveler who is hungry and probably in need of some medical treatment. You're also really lonely and wouldn't mind making a new friend right about now. Oh my. Both of us. Yes, queen! I knew I picked right. Oh, it's so Nadia What We Do in the Shadows vibe. Oh my goodness. Oh, how funny this is. How very droll you. You want to be my friend? It's too much. This thing at my doorstep, wishing to know me in any capacity. The hilarity somehow escapes my ability to capture with maniacal laughter. How rare. You apologize for your presumptuous request. You hang your head, turn around, and begin to walk. And just what the fuck do you think you are doing? Who invited you to leave? You stop in your tracks obediently and turn to face her again. Your possibly broken ribs are throbbing in pain, but this does not strike you as the right moment to exhibit weakness. It dawns on me that we may have gotten off on the wrong saunterpod. Where are my manners? Ghastly behavior on my part. After all, it isn't your fault you seem to be some sort of hideous freak, is it? And such a tragic creature cannot be held responsible for such a devastating shortfall. Social competence. We're like ugly and socially inadequate. But we're also socially inadequate because we're ugly. I see how it is. I would weep for you, really, except that crying out of 3 eyes at once gets a bit messy. So instead, I think I'll be saving my tears for someone less offensively worthless. I love her. You aren't sure if she's inviting you inside, or if she just got you to stay a little longer so she could insult you some more. I'm ugly and I'm proud! You try to remain stoic while your confrontational new friend decides what to do with you. Unfortunately, you sniffle slightly. I'm not ugly! Oh dear, you're sad? So amusing to me, mildly endearing even? Perhaps. I'll decide later if it's endearing, once I have more information. It's entirely possible I will retroactively decide it's disgusting. But for now, try to put yourself at ease, you completely pitiful fool. Not one more sniffle. Okay, ma'am. Do you understand? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You nod while practicing exemplary control over your nose. You have gotten yourself so agitated. I wonder why. You have nothing to worry about from me. Of course I will be your friend. Conditionally, I mean. There is a chance the designation will be formalized if you behave in ways that I approve of. Starting now. Let's call it a friendship in progress. Agreed? Your heart swells. This is what you've been waiting for. A new friend? Oh gosh, all you have to do now is try not to fuck anything up at all, possibly for many hours. Come into my hive. This way, after me. You look like you could use some nourishment. Also, my ribs are broken. Great house. I don't know what it is that whatever you are eats generally, but it doesn't matter. You will eat whatever it is I have on hand if I tell you to. How does that sound? How does it sound? Whatever you say. Obviously it sounds good. You'll definitely enjoy it. Capri Sun will fix me right up. Yes. You will enjoy everything I provide you with. A Capri Sun and an Uncrustable, please. You will enjoy everything I provide you with and tell you to do. I can't imagine any sort of negativity or disagreement coming from one of my friends. I will assume that we share this philosophy when it comes to friendship. You say, oh yes, absolutely. You nod as enthusiastically as you can, without aggravating your broken ribs. You consider giving her a thumbs up as well, until you realize one of your arms is probably broken too. You'll try to make sure she doesn't notice though. It would probably leave a bad impression. Come with me, there's something I need your help with. Oh, now we're in a house. Perp! No, I'd let her use me as a Capri Sun too, just a little bit of to squeeze all the juice out of me. You follow her into your hive. It's a bit gloomy in here. You suppose she's going to fix you something to eat soon, as promised. You pass through her kitchen and out the other side to another room. Okay, I guess dinner can wait. This way! Try not to let any of your broken limbs slow you down. A good friend wouldn't allow such trifling physical ailments to cause me any inconvenience. Oh, so you guess she does know you're injured? Fair enough. You hobble a little faster through another door into a much darker room, and now down a flight of stairs. It's hard to see. There are torches along the wall ahead. A monstrous noise rumbles below. Oh, the meat hooks! I was looking at the knife block and the funny troll horn sink handles. Like, this is very funny. Don't mind her. She's just hungry. She's always hungry, though. What's that? You're hungry, too? I have not forgotten. What sort of piece of shit friend do you take me for? The Nadja vibes. You didn't remind her that you're hungry. You thought it, though. Can she read your mind? You hope not. That's going to make this friendship in progress a little bit awkward. Here we are. This is where you will be the most useful to me as a friend. At the meat hooks? You look around. With this portrait. With a sense of relief, you see no sign of whatever hungry thing was grumbling down here. You're less relieved to see several other kids trapped in cages of various shapes and size. Okay, she's a little bit of a freak. One of them makes eye contact with you. Might turn it down a tad. It's very excitable music. The portrait of herself on the wall. I take so many photos of myself like this, you have no idea. The boy is the same kind of alien as her, horns and all. He has a dark red symbol on his shirt. His expression seems to plead with you. Aw, it's too bad. He struggles to say, help. Your new friend looks unamused and twitches her finger. El polo, he says. Helplo. By which I mean hello, of course. Looks like you're the new friend in progress chosen by the great and beautiful Ardana. She's my savior, my reason for being. I am nothing without her. I'd hollow myself out and let her make a nest inside of me if she'd permit it. Wait, are we all this? She just has that, like, that symphonic nature about her. That, like, we all fell for it, including this guy. You turn away from this boy. You don't want to hear anything he has to say ever again. Don't mind him. He's always regarded himself as a comedian. Come over here. This is what I need your help with, if you're going to have any value to me as a friend. You're led to a dank corner. Nice. Well, you're going to call it like you see it. This dungeon. Your new friend has a dungeon full of sad, suffering children, and presumably a monster lurking somewhere in here as well. It's not ideal. Then again, social beggars like you can't be choosers. I've been having an awful time with it. You can do it for me. It will save me some time. You look at the thing in question. You doubt she's been having an awful time with it. You doubt this because it's still in its box, looking completely untouched since it was brought down here. It's a box containing a table that looks ominously like it was designed to keep a person strapped to its surface. IKEA torture furniture! IKEA torture furniture! Yes! I will need you to assemble it. Here's a screwdriver in case you need it. I will assume that the other required tools are contained within the box. You take the screwdriver with your non-broken arm. This isn't exactly what you had in mind. You don't know what you had in mind, really. A warm meal, friendly banter, perhaps a sling for your arm and a remedial balm for your ribs. Still, you open the box without protest. Hold on! Before you start, this will make for excellent content. I just noticed the camera. Don't tell me she's a vlogger. My fans will appreciate this. She sets up a video recording device on a tripod and points it at you. A video feed comes to life on several monitors just behind you. You see in one corner of a screen an unflattering angle of your torso hunched over the furniture box. She's a content creator! She's just like me! She's just like me, for real! Other rectangles contain shots of the other kids in cages around the room. You suppose cameras are pointing at them too. If this was like the culture that like we lived with, there would be like Twitch streams. Like I follow so many Twitch channels like Critter Vision and like there's a turtle one that I follow. Like people just set up 24-hour cameras to like look at animals to help for calm sort of ASMR kind of purposes. If we were trolls for real, I think that they would have these 24-hour cams set up. Of just like kids in cages. Peak sci-fi, landing on an alien planet, alien influencer makes you put together her furniture. Yeah, I love it. You had no idea this friendship came with the perk of instant stardom. Yes, collab! Collab me, queen! Collab! Now you may begin. She's suddenly sitting in a comfortable-looking chair facing you and holding a chalice, swishing around some viscous liquid it contains. You've all the parts spread out on the floor, organized according to their labels in the instructions. You try to remember the last time you assembled something like this. You don't recall enjoying it, to be perfectly honest. This doesn't look like it'll be fun at all. She frowns conspicuously. The grub baby picture? Oh, little baby and mommy spider. Oh, how sad for you. I'm sorry. Is this activity not to your liking? You reassure her vigorously that, no, it actually looks amazing. You love shit like this. It's what you were born for, you say, as you swoosh the screwdriver around, demonstrating your plainly evident skill with the tool. Forget the thing you just thought. Completely arbitrary and wrong thoughts pop into your head all the time. It meant nothing, you swear. Yes, I hear that a lot. Continue. You open the little bag full of screws. Jesus, there are like 50 screws to this thing. Where could most of these screws possibly even go? Judging from the picture, the table really doesn't seem that complicated. You look at your screwdriver, then study the screws. Every single one requires an Allen wrench. Does this even come with an Allen wrench? The instructions seem to suggest that it does. You look around, but you don't see one. Did you open the bag too forcefully? Did the Allen wrench go bouncing off into the dark dungeon crevice nearby? Maybe you lost some of the screws too. Damn it. You begin to sweat and look around nervously. You check underneath one of the parts. No, it's not under there. You grip the screwdriver a little tighter. Oh, this is my nightmare. Oh, IKEA furniture that I can't finish. You put together some furniture on Monday, be feeling like this. I love putting together IKEA furniture. It's like Legos, but bigger. And more important. You wonder what to do next. Get the hell out of here! No, this is my friend. This is what friends do. Just do your best assembling the table. This is what friends are for. You decide it would be best not to complain about the missing Allen wrench. Your friend would probably consider it bad form. You'll just make two and twist in all the screws by hand as best as you can. Your broken arm isn't making this any easier. You favor the other one and prop pieces into place precariously, leaning against each other while you nudge them into position with your legs so the screw holes align. It's really frustrating work. You're not gonna lie. You're twisting in the first screw, then the groove slips, and the screw gets stuck. But you've already turned it too tight. Now it's hard to get it out. You twist and reverse harder, but your fingers slip, and the table pieces start to slide. Oh, they're gonna fall. You react to catch them, but it's too late. The heavier pieces tip over, slams you in the broken ribs on its way to the floor. Woohoo! It hits the floor with a bang. The stuck screw pops out, goes bouncing 10 or 15 feet away, settling deep underneath the piece of dungeon furniture. God, you're probably going to need to get that. You hear a light chuckle. Good. Ma'am. Good. She takes another sip from her chalice and settles even more comfortably into her chair. Is she enjoying this? You think she's enjoying watching you struggle put this stupid thing together. Maybe a little too much. Nevertheless, you continue. A friend is a friend, and you don't like to let your friends down. You've committed yourself to this project. feel like the author has some deep-sealed trauma they're working through. That's Homestuck, baby! That's Homestuck! But that's what Homestuck is. Homestuck's also a Rube Goldberg machine for new gender. Or sexuality. Or both. You will get the screw out from under there a bit later. Maybe when you need the final screw. You turn your attention back to the table pieces and try a different strategy. You place the biggest part, the table platform, flat on the floor. The legs would be pointing upward if they were attached. You position one leg in the right spot, in alignment with the holes, sit on the table platform and steady the leg with your feet. You grab another screw and concentrate. She sounds so pleased. It's strange, you admit, for watching this sort of activity to make someone so happy. But you also have to admit to taking a certain pride in it. It's wonderful, actually, to feel useful, wanted, important even, if only somewhat menially, to a great new friend who has discovered a way for your talents to improve her life. Out of the corner of your eye, you notice one of the caged kids reaching out with his hand. He's concentrating. Then you notice the screw you lost slowly slide out from it underneath its hiding place. Nice! Everyone's working like a team down here! Ardata does not look at the kid, but sneers a bit. She reaches towards him, and he appears to have trouble breathing. After a moment, you notice the screw slowly slides back under the It's not, you can't be that easy. It can't be that easy. She releases him from his breathing problems, resumes her pleasant expression, and takes another sip from the chalice. You guess that was against the rules? You decide to make a note of it. Your friend runs a tight ship down here. You respect that. About an hour later, you have all 4 legs on, plus some other accoutrements attached. You wrestle mightily with the thing to get it upright, using your only good arm. It seems she may have forgotten about the final missing screw. You doubt the table needs it. You decide you won't bring it up if she won't. You give it a test. It's pretty wobbly since you were only able to tighten the screws with your bare fingers. But again, she doesn't seem to mind. She reclines and has a look on her face which makes her appear absolutely enamored with your handiwork. Oh, thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Oh, She has finished her drink and the chalice is on the side table. Some awful-looking thing crawls along the floor towards her. It looks like some sort of spider, the size of an average dog. Its abdomen is preposterously large. Actually, you think it's a huge tick? That's what it looks like. Oh, so like it's probably this is baby, and this is the actual size of the thing. Family photo. It settles just in front of her. She puts her legs on top of it and crosses them. It settles under their weight and grumbles. Let's try it out, shall we? You shrug and sit down on the rather rickety table. You're about to lie down, but she interrupts you. No! You fool! You absolute fool! What do you think you're doing? That's not what I meant! Get up! You stand up, embarrassed. Again, without looking at the caged kid, she raises an arm towards him and beckons. He stares blankly and opens his own cage. Which apparently wasn't locked. He shuffles vacantly over to your table and lies down on its surface. She looks at you expectantly. You aren't sure what to do? What? You didn't think I'd be playing table stickball on that thing, did you? You aren't sure what table stickball is. Oh, you really are pretty simple, aren't you? It's like a miniature version of arena stickball played on a table. Got it? It's ping pong. You don't, but you nod. Now, go to it. You shackle the kid's arms and legs to the table. That seems to be the right thing to do, since the thing comes fitted with shackles. She gets up and lifts her huge tick-like pet. It makes more grumpy noises. She plops the enormous thing right down onto the kid's chest. He appears rendered unable to protest. Okay, ma'am, this is fine. Oh, she really is using people like a Capri Sun. You're right! The tick bites the boy's neck and begins to feed. She smiles and pats its swelling abdomen. Dark, rust-colored blood dribbles from the place where it is attached to the boy's neck. Moments go by while she looks gratified by the process. Proud, almost. Then she looks at you expectantly. What, you want me to take a sippy? Well, you don't know what she means. The final screw? Aren't you going to retrieve it and screw it into wherever it needs to go? The job isn't done. I don't keep the company of many individuals who leave things unfinished, you know. Of course, what were you thinking? You should have known your friend wouldn't let that go unnoticed. Actually, you feel like an idiot for thinking it would. You stoop very low to the ground on your knees, placing your cheek just above the floor. You peer under the large edifice. It's dark in there and goes back a ways. Lots of room for that darn little screw to roll. You take a few pitiful swipes with your good arm, but come up empty. It must be further back. You think you can see it? Yeah, that must be it. Just a little further. You have an idea. A tool would be helpful. Guess the screwdriver would come in handy after all. How did she know? Your new friend must be very wise. You think you're liking her more every minute. You grab the screwdriver and feel around with it. Yes, you got it, you think. You carefully scrape it closer to yourself, then pick it up. Oh, I missed one. I missed a thing. I clicked too fast. You slide under the table as a mechanic would with a car. There it is. The table is creaking and wobbling quite a bit now. The tick is really getting into its dinner, it seems. All the loose screws in the table have added up to a lot of give and leeway in the overall stability of the furnishing. Maybe the final screw will help. Oh. I was like, maybe I can use the arrow keys, but that just does other stuff here. Ardana has returned to the setup with the monitors. She's adjusting some settings on the feed, controlling the zoom of the camera, and typing some remarks into a chat window. She's just like me for real! This is very good material today. It's not often that I can provide content of this caliber to my subscribers. Go on, complete your project. This will be very good. You still think it's weird that she likes watching you put furniture together so much, but you're not one to judge friends. Sounds like a great way to lose friends, honestly. You screw in the final screw, but the stresses on the table are causing the holes to be misaligned. This won't be easy. The huge tick shifts its grotesque body above you, causing the table to creak loudly. You nervously slide halfway out from under the table to check it out. Then a loud pop, the sound of scraping metal. 6 or 7 screws shoot out of the desk like rivets in a sinking submarine. What a piece of shit this thing is. You think a little too late? You really need that Allen wrench. All 4 legs splay dramatically out from underneath it all at once like a baby deer on ice. The table platform comes crushing down on your lower torso, breaking your pelvis. You bellow in pain and flail to pull yourself out. Oh! You forget that you're still holding the screwdriver. In your desperate flailing, you plunge a screwdriver into the fat abdomen of the tick, which begins gushing rust blood with great force, spraying your entire upper body and face. Woo! It's a party now. The beast starts thrashing wildly and screaming. You can't see your new friend due to the blood in your eyes, but you can't imagine she's thrilled about what's going on here. Your annihilated pelvis is in perfect agony. My dick! You have to get your miserable torso out from under the shitty table. You have an idea. With your broken arm, you start slapping the big ass of the screaming tick while yelling, "Yeehaw!" You clutch the screwdriver handle with your other hand hard. The blood-gushing monster starts kicking and rearing and blasts off across the dungeon floor like a pig at a rodeo. You hold on for dear life, still blind, but your plan works. You've been pulled out from under the tomb you've spent the last hour constructing for yourself. Yippee! Yippee! Your pelvis is in ruins, but at least you're free now, riding like the wind. As you and the blood-spewing tick go tearing around the room, crashing into stuff, you hear a boy crying. You guess Ardata became distracted enough by your foolish display to cease her paralyzation method on him. Or maybe distracted is the wrong word. Maybe she's disappointed by your foolishness? Oh god, you might be blowing it right now. I still have blood all over my face. Twig swerves suddenly and starts running up the stairs. Ow, ow, ow. Your brittle pelvis feels every step on the way up. Cock injured. It careens through the rest of the hive, crashes through the front door, then comes to a sudden halt. You're catapulted violently over its backside and sail 50 yards through the air. Whee! You land on your ass, wipe the blood from your eyes. Okay, this was embarrassing, but everyone makes mistakes, right? You can still salvage this friendship, you know you can. You turn back to look at her hive. Ardata is standing in the door with a furious look on her face. She is flipping you off. You will not be my friend. No! 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 Let's try Hot Dog Boy. What? Hot dog
Don't
friend.
worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Sometimes friendships don't work out, and that's okay. Sometimes you stab their tick parent and go riding around it like a hog at a rodeo, and it's just a crazy time. Can you even get a good end with her? I know, I was being so good, so well behaved, and still. Yes, someone is approaching. A strange gray-skinned alien with a cozy-looking vest. Perhaps they will make for a good friend? Oh! What's up? Oof. Hang on, sorry, I didn't get a good look at you before I started talking. I guess you're really weird looking. You can say that. Kind of uncomfortable about this. Your stammering reply eventually conveys that you are a lost traveler, who's hungry and probably in need of some medical treatment. You're also really lonely and wouldn't mind making a new friend right about now. Hungry, huh? I see where your game is. You want my hot dog? You aren't sure what he's talking about. Then your eyes drift to the obvious target. That exquisite hot dog he's holding. It looks really, really good. Your mouth starts watering noticeably. Oh no, I knew it. You're just like all the rest. Your agenda is to have me relinquish my delicacy. Well, forget it. I've been tricked out of 2 other oblong meat products this week already. I know you probably think I'm an easy mark due to my blood color, but I still have some dignity at least. Yeah, it's got legs. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. These are bugs eating bugs. It's just a bug-eat-bug world out here. You don't know anything about his blood color or why that would matter in this conversation about his hot dog? You're hungry, sure, but you didn't mean to cast a threatening gaze at his meal. All you really want to do is make a new buddy so you don't feel quite so alone in this strange new world. I see. You just want a friend and not my sweet meat. Oh my god! All of this dialogue isn't hot dog buns. Holy shit. That's really good. Sorry, I get a little paranoid when I walk around with such delicacies in public. You can't be too careful. Folks tend to get that greedy look in their eyes around my warm sausage. These are odd ways to express the things he's saying, you think? But it would be rude to point that out. Probably best to change the subject. Get this blossoming friendship moving in the right direction. Give me a hot dog. Do you live nearby? Yeah, or, I used to, I mean. My place was bombarded by drones a while ago. Now I don't have a hive, but I'm making it work out here. Foraging for tasty things when I can. I've gotten pretty good at it. Talking to people giving me meat products, I mean. Talking people into giving me meat products. You quickly feel a sense of pity for your new friend. You thought you had it rough crash landing here, hungry and friendless. Come to think of it, feels like your arm is broken? Your ribs too, maybe? But enough self-pity. This is about making a new great friend. You ask your friend if there's anything you can do to improve his life. Oh, wait. Are we friends now? Like, is that official? Man, I don't know. Why don't we slow things down a bit, see how things go? Not saying it's out of the question, I just think I should take some time to see if you're actually friendship material. Someone I'd trust, you know? Not just another looky-loo gone in for my delicacy. Oh, damn. You got out over your skis again. Of course he's right. This is totally reasonable. You feel like you can do what it takes to win him over. You make a mental note to avoid looking at or mentioning his hot dog, since it seems to be such a sensitive subject. You do everything in your power to avert your gaze from the hot dog. You are aggressively not looking at it, in fact. Don't think hot dog thoughts, don't think hot dog thoughts. Oh, it's working. You aren't thinking about hot dogs at all. It's like he isn't even holding one, and no one ever even brought up the fact that hot dogs exist. He seems to notice, on some primal level, your current non-hot dog mindset. He smiles. You pay closer attention to the boy's face. It's a nice smile he has, actually. Very kind, disarming. A few freckles here and there, a mop of messy hair draping over his eyes. What a nice friend this would be to have, do you think? He's kind of adorable, really, if you disregard the prickly attitude about his hot dog. Okay, wait a minute. You don't want to start thinking thoughts that are too friendly. You should dial this down a little. Stick to the basics. You just want a cool new friend, nothing more. You should try to spark up some non-meat related conversation soon before things get awkward. You wonder about his house. It got bombed? Yeah, you know. Routine drone pass through my hood. A little bombing, a little culling. That's how it goes around here. I was a lucky one. My Lucis, not so much. He's a goner! Oh! Oh! Baby boy. Baby boy. Little hot dog head. No! You don't know what a Lucis is, but you can deduce it was someone important to him, who probably died in the bombing. A orphan! No! Sweet hot dog orphan. Rather than overwhelm him with annoying questions about his culture, you decide the right play is to show some sympathy. Thanks. I'll miss him. Sometimes I think I enjoy savory bun delights as a way of covering up the pain. They're so good, though, it's hard to stop. Also, I favored the juicy meats before he died anyways. You think his Lucis was a giant wiener dog? Yes! Just like a big dachshund? Oh! Like Clifford, but like a wiener dog? That's what I'm imagining. It's something we did together! Oh! Oh! How do we start talking about my hot dog once more? Let's drop it. Please, dude, don't bring it up again. You didn't bring it up, but you don't want to correct him. The boy is clearly grieving. You see 2 faint red tears roll down his cheeks from behind the messy bangs. Your heart can't take it. You have to console this homeless boy somehow. Then he'll definitely be your friend. But what to do? Hug. You open your arms and approach him with a posture of great compassion. You furrow your brow upwardly a bit, as if to say, I know how hard it is. You advance and he leans backward a little, as if caught off guard by your sympathy. Maybe you're coming on too strong, but you know there's no turning back now. You don't just throw the brakes on an imminent heartfelt hug like this. You embrace him awkwardly, and it goes well for a moment, until you realize your arm is broken, and it seizes up reflexively in pain. It jostles the hot dog in his hand. He bobbles it. You both gasp. You try to detach from the hug so you can catch the dog, but it's already on its way to the ground. In your attempt to save it, you stagger backwards and slip. The hot dog gets smushed onto your big dumb ass the moment it makes contact with the ground. Demon lets out a shriek. No! Wait, hold on. No! Oh! Dude, my dog! You scramble to get up in time, hoping you're not as owned as it looks. slipping and your butt keeps grinding the hot dog into the mud. When the carnage finally subsides, you roll over and check it out. It's completely unsalvageable. Just a gross, meaty mud mash, like the hot dog never even existed. Demon howls in agony and slumps backward against a tree. Oh no, you fucked this up so bad. That's it, man. I've lost everything. Not sure what the point is of even living anymore. You're absolutely mortified by your clumsiness and foolishness. You have a feeling you'll be thinking about this moment for years to come during those insecure moments when your mind seems to be looking for any excuse to make yourself cringe with self-doubt and shame. Still, you can't help but feel this guy is being a little unreasonable. It's just
what type
one
of dog
hot
is
dog.
this?
What type of dog is this? You're so right! It's a fucked up one now. It's a fucked up dog. There are probably plenty more of those to come by, for those who know where to look in this strange world. He himself said he makes a habit of enjoying these, so they can't be all that uncommon. Maybe he just has an unusual psychological disorder surrounding a fixation on this particular food item? Yeah, that could be it. Poor guy. This just means he needs your support as a friend all the more. You won't give up on your friends. Or for that matter, people who you're trying to desperately become friends with. That just isn't who you are as a person. You have an idea. You run it by him with a sense of optimism and salesmanship. The past is behind you. There's no need to wallow in self-incrimination and guilt over the hot dog incident. Demon perks up a little. You want to help me get another hot dog? Absolutely. It could be a fun adventure, you say. Something to bond over, to bring two new buddies closer together. Okay, you don't say that out loud, but you really hope it's true. I don't know. Could be a long shot. Sometimes it can be days before I am united with another plump treat, glistening with perspiration. Steaming, relaxing comfortably in a soft melt in your mouth. Low. Damn. Now I really want a hot dog. Guess I don't have much choice but to take you up on your offer, do I? What do you have in mind? It's a good question. You haven't made a plan yet, and frankly, you don't even know where to begin. But he's interested in spending more time with you, which is the most important thing. You'll figure something out. You decide a display of confidence is called for here. A real show of leadership to improve morale. You smile, hold your head up high, tell him to follow you. You know exactly what to do. Well, not really. But you give no indication of that at all. He's definitely intrigued. You've got him hooked now, you think. He's probably wondering if he hit pay dirt. Finding a new friend with the hot dog hookup? Of course, you don't have the slightest idea where to find a hot dog, but you've got to admit you're enjoying the feeling of being important and valued by a potential friend. You don't want to do anything underhanded, yet you can't help but feel you should probably milk this social gambit for all it's worth. This way, you say, as you begin marching confidently in a random direction. He obediently follows and begins rubbing his tummy. You begin to feel nervous almost immediately. You have absolutely no idea how this is going to play out, or if it stands a chance of resulting in a hot dog at the end of the journey. Oh well, you'll figure something out along the way. You lead him through the streets, winding through the yards of strange-looking houses, and he follows. He takes care to make sure you both are not seen, which could get you both into trouble, apparently. The improvised circuitous route appears to provoke his suspicion. Dude, are you sure you know where a dog is? It seems like maybe you're lost. Oh, absolutely. You're absolutely sure you know where to find one, you say. You're just throwing anyone off the trail who might have been following you. He nods solemnly, as if that makes perfect sense. Phew! But you can't keep him guessing like this forever. You've got to do something. Take some bold action to keep his interest in this wiener quest. You say this way, down here. This is a shortcut to the hot dog supply you're privy to. It's the mother lode. In the sewer? Yes, totally. It's just a short trek through the sewer. Shouldn't be more than an hour or several of sewer trudging. That is, if he still has the will to do what it takes to get his hand on more juicy dogs. Oh, hell yeah. You know it. I love this guy. After you, man. An hour later, you're so deep in the sewer, you've lost all bearings and sense of direction. You could be anywhere by now. You've taken so many crazy turns. Still, you don't let up for a second that you're lost. You've made each turn with decisive conviction. He's still following you, but now he's having trouble keeping up. He's out of breath and struggling with the foul smell. Can't say you're enjoying it much either, but you can't let on the fact that what you're doing now is anything other than the most casual routine for you. Like you do this every day, just a quick jaunt through the sewer to hit up this vast, mythical trove of meat products. Okay, when you put it that way, maybe this all sounds a bit insane. Still, you're in too deep to second guess yourself now. Hey, I gotta stop and rest. I can't lie, I'm starving for a heavenly frankenfurter. But this might be too much for me. I don't think I'm cut out for this. You pause and look back. He's sitting down now, slumping against a filthy sewer wall. You're intensely relieved to see you may have just won this impromptu game of sewer hot dog chicken. But more importantly than that, this looks like an ideal time to show some sympathy and have a bonding moment with your would-be friend. You sit next to him with your broken arm, put a hand on his knee in a platonic but deeply understanding way. Your arm hurts when you do this, but it's worth it. Every little gesture counts when making a new friend. I kind of suck. My looseness is gone. I don't have any skills, and most people think I'm weird for liking hot dogs so much. I'm probably just going to get cold. I'm not good at going on adventures or doing anything hard. All I'm good at is finding an easy meal here and there when I can get it. I like talking people out of their fine sausages using tricks or other ploys which end up losing me friends. It's been unthinkable that anyone would actually do anything nice for me or would want me to have that sweet, sweet meat that I desire. At least, it was unthinkable. Until now. Your heart begins to race. Could it be? Is this shitty improvised sewer escapade actually working? You can't believe it. Nobody's ever done so much or worked so hard to try and get my hands on another magnificent banger. Sorry for being emotional, but this is new for me. I don't know how to handle it. I'm just so grateful. I'd be thrilled to call you a friend, man. Whatever you are. You're overjoyed. Unbelievable. It's almost too good to be true. What now? It's such a sudden turn of good fortune you hardly know what to do. Should you hug the guy? Last time that didn't go so well, but this time he's not holding a hot dog for you to clumsily defile, so maybe this is your moment? Wait. What's that? A deep rumbling sound begins to echo through the tunnels. Oh shit. They found us. It's a drone dude. I guess on sewer duty. We gotta run. He gets up, grabs your hand and sprints. He's a lot faster than he looks when motivated to get moving. He turns this way and that as the rumbling gets closer. Ew! But he slips on something and you both tumble into a river of horrific sludge. Bro! I can't swim, help! Your bad arm finds purchase on the ledge, and though it's very painful, you heroically salvage your friend from the muck with the other arm. He coughs and he gasps for breath. You find a nearby ladder, shove him upward until he starts climbing on his own, and follow him. You burst through a lid on the floor, and you both flop out of the hole, drenched in filth, smelling horrible, and completely exhausted. But at least you're safe, you think. Hey, man. I just want you to know, even though we didn't find the glorious treasure you were leading us to, I'm happy how it all turned out. Maybe I don't need hot dogs in my life as much as I thought. Maybe that's not the real treasure after all. It's been a journey for me, let me tell you, I'm learning so much about myself, about life, because of you. His bushy hair is slicked back from his eyes due to the sludge. He's giving you a penetrating, soulful gaze of presumably pure friendship. Or is it even deeper than that? Wow, this is intense. Then something catches your eye, just above him. Something dangling. Lots of dangling things, actually. Come to think of it, it's really cold in here. Freezing, in fact. Maybe the real hot dogs were the friends we made along the way. Wow! Or maybe we just do get some hot dogs. Or maybe they're cold dogs? You finally realize, holy shit. You're in a weird alien meat locker. You're absolutely surrounded by dangling meat products, including many sausages, thousands of them. You begin to sob. Your sobbing soon turns to... Is this guy sucking my dick? Do you want a tip? You accidentally found out to avoid something bad? You know, I'll let the bad things happen because I think you can get through this pretty quickly. Your sobbing soon turns to unrestrained wailing of raw catharsis. He joins you and the tears flow freely from you both. You embrace each other and let it all out. Suddenly it hits you. Both of you. This is by far the happiest day of your life. Woo! Why was he sucking my dick? Why was he sucking my dick? We made a friend! We did it! Do I want to try and befriend? Can I click on my befriendments? Yay! I get little, like, funny little symbols for befriending people. This is fun. Close menu. Everybody likes those wieners. That's what I'm saying. I guess we can move on to volume 2 and then like we can go back to try and 100% it later. If you try to make Lady and the Tramp a hot dog with him, he would have fucking died. Holy shit. Well, now I want to see that. It says purchase more volumes here. I'm fairly sure I've purchased all of them. Oh, it's locked. This one's locked. Maybe there's more to come. I don't know. I did buy this with Steam Summer Sale, and it was like literally $3.25. It was great. Sorry, I think that sale is over now, but I was happy about it. Let's do volume 2. Stumble through the streets of a strange alien world. Ever since you crash landed on this hostile planet, you've been desperate. Desperate for information, for provisions, possibly for a bit of medical attention. Actually, before I start, I'm gonna take a sippy. It's very silent sippy. There's a lot of talking. Along the way, you've had some laughs, embarrassing missteps, and maybe even an encounter with alien meat products. You don't really want to get into it. What you do want to get into is friendship. An entire planet of endless friend opportunities awaits you. Honestly, at this point, you'd make friends with one of those weird purple bushes. You're not picky. Wait, you see something in the distance, or perhaps someone. I like the cut of this guy. This guy's jib. Yes, a potential new friend approaches, and they almost look as messed up as you are. Whoa, what the fuck, LMAO? You an alien? You nod enthusiastically. You sure hope your prospective new friend is comfortable with extraterrestrials. Things could get pretty awkward otherwise. You should really, not be outside, LMAO. Freaks like you will get picked off by drones in a hot second. No offense, LMAO. You don't like the sound of being picked off by drones. That would really inhibit your companionship plans. You hastily explain to the strange one-eyed troll that you crash-landed on this planet and are in desperate search of friendship. Your plight seems to move them. Well, shit. If you really don't have anywhere to be, I promised myself I wouldn't do anything coal risky, but what the hell, LMAO? Come with me. Name's Sarava, by the way. You follow Sarava down a twisting stretch of road. Wow, this is going great already. You bet you'll have a new friend in no time. What would he sound like instead of saying LMAO? I just, his ass fell off. Oh shit! Vaporwave! The bong! The fucking bong! The fucking lo-fi! The lo-fi! Alright, here's my hive. You can hide out here for now. I got a lot of followers who are pretty into aliens. They might get kicked out of this LMAO. You look around Sarava's hive in awe. They sure seem to have a batshit crazy taste in home decor. Checking out my aesthetic? I worked pretty hard putting this place together. It's all about the look in the BG when you're streaming, LMAO. Don't want my fans to think I live in a fucking dump, spend most of my days depressed and crying, LMAO. The bong in the can conveniently behind the couch, like out of webcam view. Why do you think I'm a VTuber? He's just like me for real. You like Moisture Wave? Yeah, I love it. You have no idea what the hell a Moisture Wave is, but you don't want to offend your new friend. You tell them you love it. Word. I'm actually streaming some chill beats as we speak. Check it. They gesture towards their strangely bulbous alien computer. On their screen is a GrubTube channel. Lo-fi, aesthetic, incubated beats. Wow, they sure have a lot of subscribers. You asked them if they drew that very nice anime girl they're using as the splash art. Nah, I just ripped it off some Eastern Alternian movie and recolored it to look like me. I fucking nailed it, LMAO. You nod vigorously. This is very impressive. Yeah, I'm kind of a big fucking deal online. I built up my own streaming empire. I work my ass off, LMAO. Nurse these beats to health from tragically ill sample loops. It's not all fun and games, though. The life of a popular online guy, you can't even imagine the hardships I've gone through. All in the name of lo-fi chill hop aesthetic moisture wave beats. That shit keeps me up at night. Sarava looks into the middle distance pensively, their one eye filled with poignant emotion. You never knew the life of a streamer could be so vaguely filled with torment. I fucking love this game. This is funny. This is good. You're moved to cry a single tear. Yeah, you get it. You're really vibing on my emotional frequency, my dude. You know you gotta suffer for popularity. You nod enthusiastically. You don't think you've ever been particularly popular, but you're very good at suffering. This is gonna be great. Sigh. I wish I could say more. Really get all emotionally vulnerable and share my tragic backstory. But ever since the incident, it's been so hard to trust new people, LMAO. You feel me? The incident. This is so tantalizing. You just know if you wanted to make a new friend, you're going to have to get them to confess their deepest insecurities and embarrassing secrets to you. That's how friendship works. You place a sympathetic hand on Sarava's shoulder. You know what, dude? You really want to be friends? Yes! Yes! You can't believe how pain-free and easy this experience has been! What a wonderful new friend you're about to make! You can practically feel the future bro embraces you two will surely share. They feel good. They feel right. You sure are eager. But like, if we're gonna be friends, we have got to work on your look. Your aesthetic is basically hot garbage right now, LMAO. Bitch! My followers can't see me hanging out with a fucking rando like this. I'm sure you understand. You aren't quite sure you follow. What's wrong with your look? You've always thought you had a simplistic charm. A face you could put a logo. A face you could put on a logo. You're not sure if you're ready to change up the tried and true classics for this newfangled teen. But you're so thirsty for Sarava's sweet friendship nectar. You need to taste it. You have to taste it. With a friend like them, you could really go places. You could be someone. You could finally be down with the hip youth of today. You tell Sarava you're willing to try anything to get into the esteemed ranks of their friend list. Well, damn. Hold up, I've got an idea, LMAO. Follow me. Sarava leads you up the winding stairs of their hive. Lining the walls are pictures of Sarava in strange poses in several different locations. They are surrounded by a few trolls you don't recognize, in similar silly fashions. Fellow members of the Moisture Wave community? They do gotta they them up in here. I find it weird that it took us this long into the conversation to like pick up on pronouns, but I'm like, fuck yeah. Sigh. I really gotta take that shit down. They're all dead to me, LMAO. You want to ask what they mean, that if they mean that literally or not. You never know with trolls. But you keep your mouth shut. Best not to offend your new friend. Let's just move on and never speak of this again. Sarava leads you into a fairly large loft bedroom. This room is a bit less ostentatious than the streaming area downstairs. Naruto! This is Naruto! They got the fucking Naruto poster on the wall! This is Naruto and Sasuke! Oh, I can't breathe. Sip my drink. Oh. Excuse me. Oh, that really got me. Oh my god. Oh goodness. I like really like threw out my throat from that. Oh. Sarava leads you into a fairly large loft bedroom. Hold on, I'm gonna really clear my. Okay, all better. Sarava leads you into a fairly large loft bedroom. This room is a bit less ostentatious than the streaming area downstairs. Well, here we are, LMAO. Welcome to my respite block. We are gonna get you hooked up, LMAO! If you're gonna be my new friend, you gotta look the part. For my streams and stuff, you know? Well, we'll have to make you a Chitter account, too. It's good for my image to have friends, LMAO. The pickings have been pretty slim ever since the incident. On that ominous note, Sarava presses a button on the wall, and a large door opens to reveal an expansive walk-in closet filled with colorful accessories and clothes. It looks like a regular batshit neon shirt apocalypse. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Well, have at it. Unless you want me to help you pick out a look, LMAO. Yeah, help me! You admit you have no idea how to dress yourself. You could really use some expert advice from a teen. Oh shit. Cue the makeover sequence, bitch. I'm gonna make you look aesthetic as fuck, LMAO! You stand in the center of Sarava's closet for a good hour as they go back and forth between various fashion items. Man, this troll is really indecisive. You think you're gonna go blind from all the neon in here. Okay. I'm done, LMAO. That was surprisingly hard. You have a hard-to-dress body, LMAO. Just in general, you're kind of fucked up looking, TBH. It's chill, though. Because now you look fly as hell. You look at yourself in the mirror. Whoa! Oh my goodness, we're matching. Oh! Iconic. Now we just gotta get you set up on the social medias, my dude. But first, selfie time, LMAO! You take a variety of cool selfies with Sarava. Wow, this is really going well. Are our bones fixed? Hypothetically. They just healed over time between chapters. You take a variety of cool selfies with Sarava. Wow, this is really going well. All right, I'll just post these and promo you. You'll be internet famous in no time. Thanks, Sarava. Then we can finally be friends, LMAO. That's what it's all about, baby. That's what you've been working toward this entire time. Sarava's friendship is so close you can smell it. It smells pretty dank. Seems like people are really into you. Check it out. It's true, the likes and comments and subscriptions are just rolling in. Huh? At this rate, you'll be more popular than me. You assure Sarava that this will definitely never happen. All you truly desire is friendship, not fans. That's what they all say. All my so-called friends! They were only in it because I was popular. No one ever gave a shit about me as a person, LMAO. I'm just a funny meme to them. I'm just a guy they can copy. You know, high bloods are always stealing my work, my look, my music. I'm the real influencer, but there's violet bloods out there taking my shit and getting twice the followers and tons of money. And I'm stuck here in this shitty hive with no friends because they all turned on me. But it's cool. It's chill. I'm totally chill with it, LMAO. Something shifts in Sarava's expression as they get a good look at you. You tense up. Your new friend sure is acting weird. Ding. Oh, what? I didn't get to read that. What the hell did you do? What? You didn't do anything. I didn't even get to read what I did. You think you could steal my look and get away with it? All my followers think you're the new big thing because you look like me. They want to know what the hell's going on. When's your new friend's stream? What's their sign? Are you kidding me? You haven't even done anything. You're just like all the rest. No, you don't want to be like all the rest. You just want to be friends. It's too late for that now. You've made me look like a fucking idiot. And now there's only one thing to do. I really didn't want it to come to this, but you've left me with no choice. I'm writing a call-out post! No! No! No, call, please! No! No! Please! Please don't make anything but that! Please, no! No, don't do it! No! No, please! Oh! No, he's gonna call me out on Twitter, please, please. I just got 420 followers. Please don't take them away from me. Oh. No! Sarava types furiously on their device. You can't stand to look. This is the worst possible thing that could ever happen. No, now no one will be your friend ever again. You'll be forced to live on the outskirts of society. A pariah. You can't even begin to imagine the things that Sarava must be writing about you. You must have fucked up so many things in your life to lead you to this point. There's only one thing to do. You stagger downstairs past all the portraits of Sarava's ex-friends. You wonder if they met the same horrible fate as you. Their grinning faces taunt you with slivers of friendship that could never be! You burst out the front door of Sarava's hive and make your way to a conveniently placed stump. You sit on it in complete despair. There's no point living anymore. With trembling hands, you reach inside. No! Hello? Is that allowed? Excuse me? Well, ayo, mature themes? I didn't expect that. I thought mature themes meant that they say fuck a lot. That escalated very quickly. I feel like we could get through much quicker. What if I just like... Woo! Yeah, I love it. I'll pick out my own look this time. You let Sarava know you are perfectly comfortable picking out your own look. You think you can figure out this fashion business easily enough. What could possibly go wrong? This is child's play. Yeah, man. Fashion is just all about, like, what you're feeling. And also what's trending, but you know, we're the ones to start the trends. You strike me as a real influencer, LMAO. Go for it, my dude. You enter the closet tentatively. As soon as Sarava is out of sight, your stupid ego deflates like a farting balloon. You don't know the first thing about hip youth alien fashion of today. This is going to be an absolute shit show, you reckon. You are fully prepared to make an utter fool of yourself. Well, might as well get started. You pick a few accessories off the shelves at random. Bright pink hat? Sure. You tilt it jauntily to the side. You're pretty sure that's cool. Sunglasses? Definitely. That's a no-brainer. No cool guy would be caught dead without a sweet pair of shades. You select the most ostentatious pair available. You think you're getting the hang of this moisture wave aesthetic. You just have to look like the biggest tool possible. Several accessories later. Oh, there's... Oh, fuck yeah! Oh, shit! This is swag, actually. Oh my fuck. That shit is transcendent. Hi, Crash. Welcome. I hope I didn't wake you up from your nap because I have been screaming playing this game. Wow. You got me speechless. Just damn. Look at you. You're like a whole new guy. A much chiller and cooler guy who I now gotta be friends with right now immediately. And now all we gotta do is debut you to my hundreds and thousands of followers, LMAO. This is gonna be fucking great. Let's take some selfies. Your heart is soaring. You did it. You really did it. You're down with the kids. And now Sarava wants you to take the coveted selfies with you? This night couldn't be going any better. You may look like a complete asshole, but if it can win you popularity with a bunch of alien teenagers, then an asshole you will be. Selling out is amazing. But what are you waiting for? Get over here, we're gonna take some fees. You pose with Sarava for several selfies. They put their arm around you in a gesture of newly formed friendship. You are beaming with friend pride. Oh, hell yeah. These are turning out great. Damn, you were killing it. Now all I gotta do is post them. Sarava fiddles around with their phone for a while. You're so nervous, you've never been internet famous before. You hope the new fame won't change you too much. Or maybe you do hope it will change you? Change you into someone with a ton of friends? And the likes are rolling in. Oh, yes. I live for this shit. This one guy's asking if you want any of your quadrants filled? Oh, and this girl loves your shades. Damn, a lot of people asking if you're single, LMAO. Don't go for it, though. My followers are fucking freaks, dude. You aren't quite sure what filling a quadrant is? Sounds like some kind of fucked up alien ritual, but if it's anything like friendship, you're all for it. Welcome to my twisted internet fame, LMAO. Let's chill out and listen to some beats. You vape? I got a pretty juicy rig downstairs. Before you know it, you're sitting on Sarava's couch watching them finagle with a horrifyingly elaborate vape rig that appears to be made out of some sort of living larva? You don't want to know. Sarava places their mouth on what surely must be a bug anus and inhales deeply. The rig makes an awful high-pitched rattling noise. Do you think you're gonna vomit? Oh man, that's the good stuff. Here you go, dude. Ooh, congrats, Crash. You take the trembling insect into your hands. Well, here goes. Your final hurdle to eternal friendship and popularity. Oh god, it's fucking weedy in here. You vape vigorously, inhaling as much as you can. The vapor fills your lungs immediately. It burns a lot. You suddenly realize that you're not quite sure if this alien vape juice is compatible with your anatomy. You could have just inhaled a bug-ass full of poison like a fucking idiot. What a way to die. Your vision swims. Yeah, you got it. Just hold it in, LMAO. Tears stream down your face as you hold in a double lungful of insect gas. You sure are glad you have on your pair of cool shades, or you would never be able to live this embarrassment down. You're not sure how long you're supposed to do this? As long as it takes. You can exhale now? You cough and sputter, green vapor spewing from your mouth and straight into Sarava's face. You did it! You lived! What is happening in this game? Alien, bug people, vaporwave, weed, a lot. Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Oh man, that was sick. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Oh. Oh god. This fucking bust. Your head feels light and woozy and you giggle. Haha, yeah. The two of you kick back and relax on the couch. You stare up at the ceiling. Whoa, when did that huge wasp nest get there? Crazy, man. Oh yeah, is that what that is? Sarava's music suddenly sounds a lot more interesting. Dude, today's been way chiller than I ever expected, LMAO. Horse! Horse. You are officially my best friend for life. Just promise me you'll never betray me, LMAO. You promise. This is incredible. You love your new friend. You watch as they effortlessly take another huge rip from their vape rig. I've been burned in the past, LMAO. It's not easy being popular online, especially as a low blood. I used to be such a fucking big shot. So no head. My head! No! Ow! It's back. Got into sassy fights with high bloods on Chitter. Always had some shit to say, LMAO. Then shit got out of control. I'm a psionic, so bitches started reporting me as way more powerful than I really am, LMAO. Trying to get me all enslaved and shit so I couldn't keep up with my streams. It's all jealousy, you know? My stupid ass friends all turned on me so they wouldn't be targeted next, LMAO. So I took matters into my own hands. Gouged out my fucking eye. Was sick as fuck. Oh! Look at my cool haircut. My cool haircut. But so bald on the sides without my ears. Can't use me as a battery, bitch. I still got a big following, but I don't really talk online anymore, LMAO. Better to stay under the radar and not piss people off. Just be chill. And if I don't get close to my followers, they can't try to use me. Of course, that just means I no longer have any goddamn friends, LMAO. Well, until you are truly moved. What a special bond you have formed with your new friend. To have them open up to you about their darkest secrets? This is the most significant and transcendent moment you've ever experienced. The two of you share a beautiful and tender bro embrace, the likes of which will never be replicated in this known universe again for all time forever. Probably. You really don't know. You're high as fuck right now. Yay! Yippee! I love this game. Let's meet the artist. Yay, Billy! You stumble through the streets of a strange alien world. Okay, we read this part before. Friendship time. Lo, What light through yon... I can't read Shakespeare right now. My brain is like... Lo, what light through yonder weirdly organic architecture breaks, a small figure approaches.
Oh my gosh. You are so...
So far, you've swallowed quite a few insults in regards to your looks and intelligence level. You aren't really the type to let shallow opinions of others get you down, but it's been kind of a rough day. You brace yourself.
Cute!
Oh! Oh! She gives you a sweet, sincere smile.
I've never seen anything like you. It's giving me all sorts of new ideas.
Boy, do you hope some of those ideas are about friendship! Now that you've got a taste of it, you are hungry for more. You take a stumbling step forward and your ribs remind you that although the potential of camaraderie is enough to improve your mental health, it can't cure acute injuries.
Oh, you don't look so good. Come inside. I've been looking for new contributors.
Contributors? Could she mean friendship contributors? No, that's dumb. Maybe she runs some sort of alien newspaper and she wants you on staff. She looks a little young for that, but what the heck do you know about alien management hierarchy? You follow her to a nearby building, and now that you're looking up from your ravenous hunt from companionship, you notice that you've wandered into kind of an upscale part of town. There's a lot less garbage and people collapsed in the street. You see one of those spiky robot things, but it's washing a window instead of shooting a laser at a group of children? If that's not high class, you don't know what is. Before you can follow her inside, she turns around in the threshold, blocking your way.
Real quick, you don't happen to be an artist, do you?
Artistry? Well, as a matter of fact, I mean I am. So I've been known to dabble.
Oh, I see how it is. Well, you aren't going to sneak Rona any trade secrets out of me. Goodbye.
Oh. Wow, I didn't know that you could lose that quickly. Let's try that again. Again. Whee!
Oh, good. Friendships between artists can be so fraught. Much better to just keep things between artists and art appreciators. That way no one can get jealous.
The girl's smile widens even further and you feel an unbelievable rush of joy. Have you finally found someone who isn't a total fucking maniac? And she brought up friendship without you having to mention it at all. It puts a spring in your step, or as much as a spring as possible with a broken arm and a misaligned torso. Amisha leads you into an elevator with buttons labeled in spiky letters that make absolutely no sense to you. You realize that probably nothing is ever going to make sense to you again. That's okay. Your hierarchy of needs has adjusted recently. You got a bad feeling about this one? Too cute. And also high-blooded, which makes it scarier. Your new friend, you are jumping the gun with this descriptor, but you're feeling seriously good about this encounter, stands in the corner of the elevator, wringing her claws.
I wish I'd known I was going to have company. I would have cleaned up a little. It's been a while since I've met anyone new.
You assure her that whatever disaster her house is, it can't be any worse than some of other places that you've seen here. Although you kind of get what she means. She's wearing an artist's smock that's covered in splashes of paint. I don't think that's paint. I don't think that's paint. I just realized just now, that's probably not paint. That's not. No. Oh yeah, and Omen in chat, like, yeah, okay. Oh, and that, yeah, actually it doesn't really look like paint, but it couldn't be anything else, could it? It's every color of the rainbow. Oh, and she's looking for contributors. Oh. The elevator door slides open and you step into a space that you are relieved to find is totally recognizable. The table overflows with messy palettes and brushes, cloudy jars of water and sponges. Several easels stand beside the windows to catch the light off of the two moons, and a number of canvases lean against the wall, turned so you can't see what's on them.
First things first,
Amnesia brings you over to a wall screen that looks way more high-tech than anything you have on your now-defunct spaceship, tapping away at a series of unreadable symbols. She then indicates you should take off your sling.
Here. Go ahead and stick it in there.
She seems to want you to put your injured arm into a large hole in the wall, which you do, because you're sure your new friend has your best interests at heart. The hole shrinks down like a blood pressure cuff, sending bolts of agony through you. Oh. You want to yank your arm back out, but you don't. Even if it's broken, you still like having it attached to you. Instead, you shout a lot and thrash your other limbs around.
Calm down, you big wriggler. It's like you've never seen a medicalizer before. If you don't stop moving, it won't work.
Tears spill down your cheeks, but you force yourself still. You bear the pain. You'll do it for your friend. She's looking at you so hopefully, and she's so delicate and pretty, almost angelic. You look at her face and tell yourself it's all going to be okay. Finally, the hole releases you, and you pull your arm back out to find it completely healed. You can move your fingers. It doesn't even hurt anymore. Hey, things are looking up. Seeing Damon cry earlier made you think, are all their body fluids colored the same? Yeah, their body fluids are the same color. Like, look, my tears are purple too. Oh, and then my blush, also purple. That's trolls, baby. Very color coordinated.
See? I told you.
This is great. You are overwhelmed with the urge to celebrate. I want to dance around the room. You try and resist the urge to celebrate. You fail to resist the urge. You take Amnesia by her tiny hands and twirl her around the studio. Or you try to. You forgot about your busted ribs. You sure are doing that a lot. You let go of Amnesia and go careening off into one of the tables. Thankfully, not the one covered in art supplies. You hit the corner and go down onto your incredibly sore ass. Even there, yeah? And what about it? This is what you get for acting like a huge fucking tool in front of your new friend.
Are you okay? Was that some sort of ritualistic rite of healing I've never heard of before?
You shrug against the floor. What are these people doing? Get away from my... What are they doing down there? Amnesia leans down and picks you up in bridal carry, despite the fact that she's about half your size. It makes your ribs hurt, but what doesn't nowadays? Amnesia lays you down on a weird, lumpy couch.
Are you sure you're okay? You look a little...
She trails off to nothing. She's looking at your left arm, which you have draped over yourself awkwardly to sort of try to hold your torso together.
That color.
At first, you think she means the color of your skin, which is different than her light gray. Then you think she means the truly fantastic buffet of bruises you've got going on. But then you realize that in your prancing idiocy, you've managed to scrape up the inside of your arm. Blood oozes sluggishly from the wound. Amnesia dredges a finger through it. You're half expecting her to put it in her mouth for this to become a whole cannibal situation. Well, since you aren't the same species, it wouldn't really be cannibalism, but still, no thanks. Instead, Amnesia just holds her finger up, the drop of blood trembling on the tip.
This color. I've never seen anything like it.
She dashes off to one of her tables, pulling over a sketchbook and dragging her finger down it. Your blood paints a rusty line down the center. She lets out a little squeak of excitement.
This is amazing!
What, red?
Not red. There's a million dirty little rusties swarming all over the city. I'm drowning in red. This is crimson. It's incredible. You must be some sort of mutant. You're really lucky I found you instead of one of those drones.
Lucky? You? Yeah, very lucky. The luckiest. Though your arm is healed and you're out of whatever doubtlessly weird weather happens on this planet, maybe Amnesia's right. Maybe you are lucky. You close your eyes and try to breathe. Zen yourself out. Really center yourself in your own body and all that garbage. Ah! Ma'am! Then you open your eyes and wow, you sure aren't centered anymore. The fact you roll completely to the left as you try to get away from Amisha, who is back and standing over you with a gigantic axe.
Watch out!
Amisha grabs you, drags you back up onto the couch, and plants her hand on your solar plexus, effectively pinning you down.
You'll hurt yourself if you keep flopping around like a beach blubber beast. You want to be friends, don't you? You want to help me with my artistic aspirations, right?
You get the feeling she might be trying to manipulate you. Just the tiniest little suspicion. It's possible Amisha has recognized your intense craving for companionship and is trying to exploit it. You don't like being suspicious of a new friend, but that is a pretty big axe.
I don't know what's got you so worried. I just want to show you my axe.
Oh, of course, makes sense. It is a really nice axe. You hold out your hand for it, but of course it is too heavy for you, and your hands are all sweaty, and you fumble for it. Fumble the really sharp weapon. Oh! Amisha tries to catch it before it's too late, and somehow in all the wriggly struggle, you end up getting cut. Like very cut across both your No! In fact, you don't think she could have aimed even better if she'd been trying.
Oh, dear.
Hard agree.
Don't struggle! You only hurt yourself more, silly. You don't want to do that, do you?
No, you definitely don't want that. Not after what a Butterfingers you've proven to be. Amisha gets up to put the axe down, and you kind of lose track of her for a little while. You are bleeding all over the couch, and everything around you starts to go shiny and unreal. She comes back. God! She comes back with a couple little jars that she uses to catch your blood. That's a good idea. You sure are making a mess. You wonder if they are specifically blood jars. They look like jam jars. Alien Jam. Space Jam. God, you love that movie. It's been so long since you've seen it. Definitely the best PG movie about basketball. Way better than the one with the dog and the clown. Do they even have basketball here? You ask Amisha. She just shushes you and brushes your hair back off your forehead. She keeps smiling and saying comforting things. God, she's such a good friend. Before too long, you do what's honestly a goddamn shock you haven't done before now. You pass out. When you come to, you're propped up against the wall in a weird way that you wouldn't love even if you weren't an invalid. Both of your arms are jammed in the hole in the wall. The med hole. The glory hole of well-being. The magic sphincter. You grunt and you pull your arms back out. They're healed. The cuts on your wrists are just two faded pink lines. You take a step away from the wall and immediately hit the ground. You may not be actively dying anymore, but you did just lose like half the blood in your body. Gosh, you're tired. A little giggle makes you turn around, or roll over, since you are still on the floor and probably not getting up anytime soon. It's fine. You've met worse floors in your life. Amisha is sitting at one of her easels, her hair pulled back beneath a scarf and little round glasses perched on her nose. A jar of your blood sits next to her, and as you watch, she dips a brush in.
I'm glad you're awake. I was a little worried I'd actually killed you back there.
Obviously, she's not gonna kill us because we have such a nice color. She has to keep us alive. She can't kill us. She laughs, and you laugh along with her. It's very funny. Actually, everything's very funny right now. It's probably the blood loss. You ask her what she's painting.
You, of course. You inspired me.
Well, right now it just looks like a bunch of red squiggles and some lines, but she only just got started. She's warming up. She sits there on her stool, looking at her palette and chewing on her lip thoughtfully. She looks somewhat nervous.
Actually, I want to show you something. Something I've never shown anyone else.
She leaps up from her stool and crosses the studio. You roll to your other side to keep her in your line of sight. You really hope she isn't getting another Space Jam jar. She starts turning around the canvases one by one. They're all blank, except for one, which has a little... Wait, no, that's just a shadow. Every single one of them is blank. You aren't sure you understand. You ask her if these are all just new canvases she has not gotten the chance to paint on yet. Amnesia sighs.
No, I've had them for forever. I'm just not a real painter. There, I said it.
She buries her face in her hands, talking from between her fingers. I'm really good at all the other parts. The materials in the studio. I even make all my own paints. I just can never do the actual sitting down and doing art part. Girl, there are way too many relatable characters in this. There are way too many relatable characters. And that's concerning. She just looks so despondent. You wish you could do something, but you really don't know that much about art, and you probably can't stand up yet. You tell her that she looks like she's moving in the right direction, at least. You don't even have a studio or any brushes or stuff like that. Of course, you have no aspirations of being a painter, but you leave that part out.
That's just it. I feel inspired for the first time ever. I think it has to be your messed up, disgusting mutant blood. There's really no other explanation.
She takes a knee beside you, picking up one of your limp hands with hers. They're cold, like she's been pressing them to a glass window in winter.
Usually I just finish off my contributors quickly. I don't have time to deal with a bunch of injured lowbloods moaning around in my studio. But I couldn't just use your blood up all at once. You're far too special for that.
You gaze at Amnesia. A mist has descended over your vision, and it isn't even the mist of imminent death. Stop hiding in the corner! It makes me uncomfortable. You can't even see her because I'm in the way.
I have to keep this precious blood safe. I think you might be my muse.
Oh. Yay! Friendship! Yay! Woo! Success. Great success. Volume 3! Oh, we got pretty people. Putting one foot in front of the other, you continue on through this strange alien world. Just when you think stuff is beginning to make sense, it all slips through your fingers and becomes even stranger and more alien. There does, however, seem to be one thing that remains constant through all planets and walks of life. That thing is friendship. You are on the prowl for more. It would have perhaps been wise to stay with one of your wonderful new friends until you're fully healed, but as Martha Stewart said, visitors, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days. You are almost positive that Martha Stewart said that. I think that's Benjamin Franklin. I may be calling myself out as a stupid person. Nevertheless, you soldier on in your endless quest for companionship. Where will your travels take you next? Oh! Oh, I wanna be a cowboy, baby. Ben sounds right. Yeah. I was right! I know my fucking Philadelphians. That's what it is. As dawn approaches, you find yourself heading out of the big city and into the rustic outskirts. Oh, cowboy! Cowboy! Oh! Oh! Okay, we're gonna have cowboy times in space. Oh! I'm enjoying the music. I should stretch. I was gonna take a sippy too. Oh, my bones. You know what is very sad about my new microphone? I think I have it set up that you don't really hear any crackles when I stretch, but like, there's a little bit. Oh. But you can tell I'm stretching. Ooh, thank you for the stretch redeem. Because I did need it. I was popping my bones. I popped my spine like a zipper. Have a little sippy of water too. Man, the sun sure is bright on this planet. It's rising over the crest of the distant hills. A huge fiery ball. The later it gets, the bigger and bigger it grows. Way bigger than you've ever seen the sun on Earth. What's that smell? Could it be your flesh beginning to sizzle? Fantastic! You love the country! Literally me when I go outside and it's like 100 degrees. No wonder that nightlife seems to be so active on Alternia. They're all nocturnal to avoid brutal daily roasting. You reach into your pocket for your cool new shades, but you appear to have left them at your friend's house. Fuck! You gotta get yourself together. The recent physical trauma and extensive blood loss has you a little fuzzy. You weren't built for this wilderness survival shit. You're starting to wish you'd just stolen a fucking Lamborghini or something instead of a spaceship. This seriously isn't looking good. The city's too far away now for you to turn back, so you have no choice but to keep walking. Maybe you can find a cave or a hole in the ground. Maybe you can just cover yourself with grass. You wish that someone had mentioned the death sun in between offering you alien meat products or calling you their muse. Off to your left in the distance, you catch sight of what might be the shimmer of sunlight on glass. A window? A solar panel? You could seriously clean up with renewable energy on this planet. Should you change your trajectory and go toward the shimmer? It might just be a mirage. Yeah, go towards the light. You turn your aching, stinging meat sack toward the distant, promising sparkle of safety and succor. You focus on just staying upright, one step at a time. Just keep swimming or whatever. God, the sun though! You need SPF 5 million for this nonsense. But then, almost like it has picked itself up to come scuttling to meet you, you suddenly find yourself in front of a long, low structure. You let out a yelp of anguish, pounding on the door. At least you hope it's the door. What in the world? The door opens and you fall inside with one of the most pathetic whimpers of your career. Blessed darkness closes in on you. From right beside you comes a snuffling yip, like some joker is making fun of your dire situation. Something warm and wet glides up your stinging cheek. Hold on, lady! Give him some room! A pair of hands help you sit up gently. Your eyes haven't adjusted enough to make out more than a couple shapes. One upright and one lower to the ground. What were you doing out there? Can you stand? Strong arms pull you to your feet. You wonder if everyone on this planet is strong, or if you're just extremely flimsy. They guide you to a chair at the end of a long table. Stutteringly, you begin to explain yourself that you are an injured, exhausted traveler who's ravenous for pals. Well, bless your heart. But hold on a tick. Dinner's about to burn. Now that your rescuer mentions it, you do smell something. It smells amazing. Funny you should blunder in here like that. I was just saying, wasn't I, lady? It's been so long since we had any sort of guests who aren't Imperial drones or about to rob us. You rub at your watering, slowly clearing eyes. When you look back up at your rescuer finally comes into focus. She's tall. Taller than anyone else that you've met here, you think. Also, maybe a little older? Not that you're an expert in troll physiology. She just has an air of knowledgeable competence. She's wearing a fringed jacket and holding up a plate. There you go. Your oculars feeling any better? By the by, my name's Skylar. Pleasure to meet you. And this here's a lady. Oh! Oh God, this is very scary dog. Oh! She looks down, and at first you think she means the table. But then you look under the table at the giant monster dog looking up at you. You jolt so hard you almost fly backward out of your goddamn chair. Whoa there! No need for theatrics. It looks a little like one of those lassie dogs with the pointed noses, except enormous and pure white. It Its barks practically shake the whole house. Hey there, lady. No need to be rude. They've clearly had one hell of a time and they don't look dangerous. Just really peculiar. Besides, if they try anything, you and me can take them. Skyla puts her hands on her hips, staring you down with thunderous yellow eyes. Right? No funny business, you hear? You swallow and nod, trying to look unthreatening and obliging, ready for anything. For instance, friendship? You are so ready for that. Skyla sets down the plate she's holding. Here, have a grub cake. There's plenty. That sounds gross as hell, but what's sitting on the plate looks and smells exactly like a normal pancake, golden brown and crispy at the edges. There's boiled tree blood if you like, also churned dairy product. She puts down a carafe of syrup and a dish of butter. Man, everything here has really weird names. Skyla pours out a cup of some very familiar smelling liquid. Brown bean juice, you guess? Skyla raises an eyebrow. No. That's just coffee. She sits down next to you. You're lucky you were only out in the light at dawn. Nobody wants to be out in direct alternative sunlight besides jade-bloods. And no offense, you certainly ain't any jade-blooded that I've ever seen. At first I thought you were some sort of mutated Lucis because you don't have horns and you were grunting and yipping up a storm back there. But you're an alien, right? Don't worry. I won't call the drones. I'd best get used to being around aliens anyways, seeing as how I'm gonna be seeing a whole mess of y'all come next week. She laughs nervously. You aren't sure what she's talking about. Do you even need to specify that anymore? It's just the natural law at this point. Gravity, the conservation of energy, and you don't know what the fuck is going on. Lady, would you mind drawing a bath for our guest? No offense, but you smell like you could use one. You can't argue with that. You offer her a cautious smile. God, she seems so nice and caring, but you've been burned before. And cut, and generally kicked around by fate. It's a tough world out there. But you want to trust Skyla. Lady takes a bucket in her muzzle and runs out into the yard, getting up on her hind legs and batting at the door latch to open it. It's adorable! The sun is high enough now that the whole landscape outside is washed in white. Oh God, the dog! Oh, it's sweet of you to worry. Lucy are fine going outside for a little while in the daylight. Their coats reflect light, something to that effect. I don't really know how it works. I ain't exactly known for my scientific acumen. You tell her she seems pretty smart from where you're standing. As cynical as you are becoming, you just can't help trying to be her friend. She's just so nice and, wow, really pretty. Yeah? Yeah, she is. Not that it's a requirement for friendship, but your retinas would have to be way more scalded than they are not to notice that. Oh, that's nice of you to say. But it wouldn't even really matter if I was a bona fide genius. Some of my cast could never hope to rise up in the ranks. Best I can hope for is hauling crates on some cargo vessel. Ranks? Cargo vessel? You swallow your bite of grub cake, ready to ask her if she's thinking about joining the military, but just then a swell of noise erupts from outside the house. Shouts, crashes, and ladies' frantic barks. Skyla gasps and launches herself out of the chair, knocking over the carafe of syrup. It oozes across the tabletop in a sticky wave. Oh no, not now! What the hell is going on? Bandits! Goddamn Lucis thieves! You don't get the chance to ask anything else before Skyla careens toward the door, throwing up an arm as blazing white light pours in. Oh God, she's gonna go outside and burn up. She isn't thinking straight. You've got to do something. Help her! Ah, what the hell? You've already experienced the alternating sun? It sucked a whole lot. Maybe now it'll suck less because of how bad it sucked then. Just a sliding scale of suckage. Skyla plunges out into the daylight in the direction of the commotion, and like a big dumb asshole, you barrel out into the blazing hellscape after her. Surprise! It still sucks. You've had sunburns before, but this is ridiculous. This is a fucking monster of a gas giant pointing and laughing at the tiny speck of humanity you represent, trembling before the void. It's a pure assault on all your senses. The light is almost as bad as the heat, and you put up your arms to block the glare, following the dust Skyla kicks up behind her. You doubt your eyes will actually ever adjust to this fuckery, but you can see a little better than before. There are about a dozen of them, all of them trolls, all wearing dark padded outfits that cover their faces. They look halfway between hazmat suits and SWAT uniforms. MSP reader is completely colorless white. They should have the same resistance as Elusive. Yeah, but, like, they still get sunburn. And, like, dogs don't get sunburn, you know? All of them have big, fake-looking guns that probably aren't fake. In fact, one of them shoots a laser at your face. You duck, and it leaves a blazing heat trail across your cheek. But as all of you is currently burning, it doesn't really break your stride. Skyla throws herself into the fray, letting out a war cry accompanied by the sound of a fist hitting flesh. It's 12 against 2, which, if you remember your fractions right, is not unlike 6 against 1. But these guys had probably not been expecting a frontal assault, and they had definitely not been expecting Skyla, who was frankly fucking terrifying. She shoves 3 trolls down like dominoes, grabbing up a discarded gun and shooting all 3 while they're on the ground. Bam, bam, bam! You've never been in a fight before, a fucking all-out brawl. It's scary, but now that you're in the thick of it, also kind of awesome? Sure, your skin is burning and you could be killed at any moment, but that's just how it goes on this planet. You just gotta get into the swing of things, take no prisoners, kill or be killed. Hell yeah! Woo! You pop one of the bandit trolls in the face. Fuck, that probably hurt your fist more than it hurt the troll, but it does throw them off balance for long enough for Skyla to smash the butt of her gun into the side of their head. Yeehaw! Hell yeah! She gives you a wild grin. The two of you are beaming at each other while a hostile alien sun tries to boil away the liquid from your eyeballs, and a bunch of bandits try to dognap a giant monster. You love this girl. I do! In a friendship way. But still, you love her. You make an awesome team. Another troll comes up behind Skyla and she smashes an elbow into their throat, grabbing them by the front of their uniform and suplexing them onto the dusty ground. She wails on them with her bare hands. God, she's really hot! Get lady! Oh, right. You stumble over to where the Lucis is thrashing inside a big black net. You don't have any way to cut her free, but she's already doing great on her own, biting through the fibers with her big sharp teeth. You hold the net still for her to finish the job, then pull it off her so she can join the fray. It's over fast after that. How'd they even get Lady into the net in the first place? She's so giant and quick, grabbing trolls in her jaws and shaking them like chew toys. The remaining 5 who are still standing jump into their weird little dune buggies and make tracks. Emphasis on the bug. They look like scuttling little beetles. Skyla chases after them for a few hundred yards, throwing the gun after them and shouting obscenities. And stay away, you hear? Tell the rest of them why you don't ever fuck with Rusty's ranch. She stands silhouetted against the blazing sun, the dust trails vanishing into the distance. You are awash in heady victory, giggling like a lunatic before the adrenaline kind of drains out of you all at once. You are violently reminded of your fucked up ribs and recent blood loss. The Alternian sun beats down and your arms are already covered in raised patches of red skin. This is a sunburn turned up to 11. Whoa there, are you okay? Skyla is swaying too. A spray of olive green blood covers her cheek. At least the rainbow blood on this planet means you can be sure it isn't hers. She still looks rough. Kinda how you feel. Lady! Come here, girl! Wow, you're just gonna sit down. Maybe take a little break. Pale landscape swoops going even paler. No, you can't rest here. You'll die, dumbass. I'm not letting anything happen to my new best friend. Get up! New best friend? Holy shit. That makes you so happy. You absolutely can't die here. Not when you've just made such an amazing friend. Somehow the two of you manage to drag each other across the yard towards the house. Hive? You're gonna get this lingo down if it kills you. Whenever you feel yourself about to fall forward, you lean on Skyla. When you start to fall back, Lady is there to brace herself against the back of your knees. She's such a good Lucis. You wonder if she'll be your friend too. Her muzzle is dripping with the soup of multicolored alien blood. Yeah! When you get back into the darkness of the hive, you can't see shit. Dang, your species really ain't suited for this kind of environment, huh? You can't even see in the dark. In a demonstration, you walk right into the table. You've about had it with tables. You are sworn enemies at this point. Please don't knock down my nutrition platform. I built it myself. She sounds exhausted but giddy. Dang, you really did that thing, didn't you? I kind of want to go in for the hug, but that sunburn is really something. It feels like tiny needles piercing your arms and cheeks. The back of your neck is a colony of fire ants. Oh, yeah. Feels real bad, don't it? Come in. Come on. There's only one cure for sun rash. Skyla takes your hand. Gosh, this is next level friendship stuff. She leads you through her hive, and who knows if you are ever going to get all your vision back. Maybe you're just blind for life. You'll have to get a cane and a whimsical aesthetic and learn to navigate the world by smell alone? No, that would be stupid. Here we go. My coop ain't huge, but you're kind of scrawny. What are you waiting for? Take your clothes off! Ma'am? Ma'am? Man, the sun must have fucked more than just your eyes, because you could have sworn Skyla just told you to take your clothes off. You are seriously not getting in my Rakuma-kun with those filthy rags. I'm not even sure what those clothes were supposed to be originally. My cool fit that I got from my vaporwave friend? From Sarava? I'm cool. I'm hip. Yeah, you aren't so sure about your look either. Another new friend of yours told you it was rad, but you were both a little high at the time. And you might be a little high right now. You wonder if sunstroke causes auditory hallucinations? Also, you don't know what a Rakuma-kun is. Really? Then what the heck do you sleep in on your planet? You hear rustling, followed by the sound of clothes hitting the floor, and then a weird gloop gloop, like someone getting into a bathtub, only thicker. If a troll didn't have soaper, well, I don't rightly know what would happen, but I reckon it wouldn't be great. It can speed the healing process for burns and small wounds. I'm not sure what it's gonna do to your weird alien anatomy, but I don't see how it's gonna make it any worse. You tell Skyla that in your experience, things can always get worse, especially from her perspective right now, since she's about to see you naked. Nothing like a little self-deprecating humor as an A+ cover for crippling insecurity. Skyla laughs. Come on now. I'm sure you're a perfectly healthy example of your species. Just get in already. I promise this isn't any sort of pale solicitation. Or flushed, for that matter. I know it's awkward, but I only got the one coop. Right. Okay. You can totally do this. You can make this not weird. Of course, you trip taking off your goddamn pants, and Skyla starts laughing all over again. Not in a mean way, more in a chill, please join me in my slime bathtub, old chum way. In a non-awkward way. In a friend way. Oh! And there was only one bed. And there was only one bed. I like that. That was a fun one. I want to sleep in a group bed. It would be great. That was a lot of fun. I like that one a lot. I'm interested to see if this one will top it. You've been traveling through a cave network for a while now. The rigid stone is a welcome respite from the eerily organic infrastructure you've been encountering, but it is also proving an unwelcome respite from friend-making. If they would top it? Top? Top? You say top? Huh? Top? I mean, like, Skyla seemed like a top to me. I don't know. Maybe it was too much to hope for that this cavern would be home to another potential new buddy. Spare top, ma'am? I'm holding my hands out. I'm holding my hands out. Please? Please? Spare top? Please? 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 Maybe it was too much to hope for that this cavern would be home to another potential new buddy. Maybe leaving the big city behind was a horrible mistake. Just maybe these dark, cold tunnels are completely devoid of— oh, hang on, there's a bunch of buildings in the distance.
Oh, hello. I thought you were one of my girls, but you don't look like a Jade Blood. Or anything else, actually. How strange.
You convey your usual spiel regarding your circumstances. You are lost and lonely, and your ribs are still broken, you think? Honestly, the ribs are fine. You could just use another friend or two.
I see. My first responsibility to my Jade is to my Jades and the Mother Grub, so I can't make any promises of friendship just yet. But you do look like you need someone to take care of you. Here in the Brooding Caverns, we follow a few simple rules.
1. Don't invite drama from up top down below. 2. Protect the Mother Grub. 3. We have no hierarchy, but do what I say. Let's do everything we can to keep up our current record of dozens of sweeps without any Jades being called. You're not sure what half of those words mean, but you nod your head. Good, I'll take you to our hive. Follow me! You follow her into her hive, which looks like a school or some kind of dormitory, with multiple rooms and multiple floors. Usually more of my Jades are around. I suppose that everyone's out watching the Imperial drones arrive with the filial pails. Girls, we have a visitor to our caverns! 1. Do not be alarmed by their bizarre appearance. They seem to be harmless and quite weak. 2. Do not give them more injuries than they already have. Our visitor deserves a warm Jade Blood welcome! She claps her hands. No one else is around, but you stand to attention and give her the thumbs up to show that you read her loud and clear. You notice that she called you visitor and not friend, but that's okay. You can do whatever it takes until you're upgraded from visitor to friend, or at least charity case. They got babies in the pool! You follow her upstairs and she stops at a big room on the second floor. When you step into it, you have to clap your hand over your mouth to keep from gagging at the revolting sight. There are big, baby-sized larvae-looking things all over the floor, squirming around and crying and inchworming out of kiddie pools of green slime. What the hell? This is our nursery. Most of our wigglers are sick or injured, so we look after them in here until they're well enough to go back out to the caverns and spin their cocoons. She looks shifty all of a sudden, giving you some side-eye like she's sizing you up. You try to look very non-threatening and also 100% trustworthy. We keep this nursery on the down low. It's not against any laws, but it's something of a break with tradition to save any of the grubs instead of just letting them die. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure why we do it. I guess it just feels right to me to take care of them, the same way I take care of my Jades. A nursery, huh? You look around again with this new information. You guess you can sort of see how the wigglers look like babies. You can't believe that one of these things could grow up into anything that looks like Bronya, but this is an alien planet, so who knows? She takes you over to a shelf that seems to hold medical supplies. You're not sure what can be done for your broken ribs, but maybe she has some kind of alien technology that can help. When she starts going through the cabinet, you don't see anything that looks high-tech, like the thing that fixed your arm. Oh, I guess that most of what we have is stuff for the wigglers. And I'm not familiar enough with your bizarre anatomy to know if it will help. But if you're not completely sure how to do something, it's best to try anyway. Even if you fail, everyone else can still learn from your mistake. 2, maybe you won't fail, you never know. You're not so sure about applying this ethos to your broken ribs, but she looks so determined. It might be rude to say no. Go for it, my ribs are already broken, where's the harm? Okay, come here. Lift up your shirt so I can get to your injured bellow sack enclosures. Yes, like that. Turn the part that's all bloody and horrifying towards me. She has something that looks like some kind of ointment. It's a shade of bright green similar to the slime beds you see around the nursery, and it also seems to be glowing. Seems like there's nothing wrong about applying it to your skin. But despite your optimism, the second Bronya rubs some of it on your broken skin, you feel a searing hot pain like you just got doused with poison. You flinch back instinctively. Your momentum carries you too far, and as you step back, you trip on something behind your feet. Oh, a baby! You cartwheel your arm, but it's no use. You're going down. You're yelling timber. You oil God! Oh no! Oh! You feel something soft and squishy break your fall, and you hear a terrible squelching noise and some kind of animal squeal. Oh my god! No! I fell on a baby! You've fallen right onto one of the wigglers. You roll off of it, but there's no use. It's squished flat and you're covered in olive fluid that you think might be its blood. And you look up to see Rania's horrified face, and you know there is no hope for friendship in those vengeful eyes.
You might want to run before I throw you out this window and break the rest of your bones.
Oh, my ass! My fat, dumb ass. Alternia's deadliest ass. I killed a hot dog. And now a baby. It's just escalating. Please, I can do better. Please. I'll heal on my own just fine, thank you.
Oh, well, if you're sure. I was worried about you, though. You seem like you need help, and I wish I could help you more. If I can't take care of someone, I'm not sure how we can ever truly be friends. You try to cheer her up, pointing out that friendship is a two-way street after all. She doesn't have to concern herself with your mutilated frame. How can you help her instead? Well, sure, there are things around here that I could use some assistance with. However, don't take this the wrong way, but we've only just met. I don't know that I can trust you to be as responsible as I am. It's not easy to be the one in charge. You have to be 1, conscientious, 2, considerate, and 3, competent at all times. You try to think of times in your life when you've been conscientious, considerate, and competent. You're drawing a bit of a blank, but hey, new planet, new you. You assure her that you have what it takes. I guess if you want to prove that you can be responsible, I can let you help me out today. It's a good time for a visit to the mother grub. You're careful to step around all the little guys on the floor as you head out of the nursery. I want to go back to the baby room. I want to play with the funny babies. She takes you back outside, and these caverns are even bigger than you first realized. They're also dark and cold and gloomy, and you can't see anywhere that might lead up to the planet's surface. Does she really just live down here all the time? To make some conversation during this cold hike in the damp cave, you mention that living underground like this seems kind of depressing. You realize too late that this wasn't very tactful, but she doesn't get angry at your conversational gambit of insulting her home. Oh no, it's very peaceful down here. Well, in comparison to anywhere else. I quite enjoy it. The brooding caverns are a place for life and birth, not death. It's pretty uncommon on Alternia. You're still not sure what she means by brooding caverns, but you guess it has something to do with the wigglers in her nursery. Before you can ask, you reach the top of a ridge and get a new, wider view of the rest of this cavern. It's enormous, probably the size of a small city. All over the cave floor, you see more wigglers crawling everywhere. Cocoons line the cave walls and larger stalactites, with some young trolls crawling out of them. Walking, flying, and crawling among the wigglers and young trolls are a variety of white monsters of all kinds of shapes and sizes. In the center of the cavern, there is... You don't even know how to describe it. It looks like a huge, many-legged queen bug of some kind, with a goat-shaped skull and horns coming out of her head. Her bulbous sphincter ripples as she lays a continuous stream of hundreds of eggs, from which you assume is the gray wigglers will hatch. And marching through all this, you see several hulking bipedal creatures, each carrying 2 buckets, either to or away from the mother grub. They look armed and they move like regimented troops, soldiers of some kind. You are instinctively terrified of them. This is where the magic happens, and by that I mean the continuation of our species.
Jade Bloods like myself are entrusted with looking after this process, which of course is a very special job. 1. The Imperial drones carry filial pails of genetic material to the mother grub for her slurry. 2. She lays eggs that hatch new grub broods. You guys listening? You taking notes? 3. After the wigglers emerge from their cocoons, the new trolls will go through the trials, and the ones that make it will be selected by a Lucis to help care for them. 4. Together, the young trolls and their Luci will go up to the surface together, where the trolls will grow up, or get cold, or whatever. As Bronya explains troll reproduction to you, one of the Imperial drones veers sharply to the left and in the process tramples over a few wigglers and young trolls. The drone continues on, but several of the Luci cry out, crowding around their dead or injured charges. Have a good night, Rabbit. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you sleep well. Oh, so there's a poor little bison over here. One of them, a gigantic beast that resembles a bison, bellows and rears up on its hind legs, hitting one of the other Luci with its front hoof. Oh, geez, not again. This kind of damage control is a lot of what we have to deal with. Whenever a Lucis goes rogue out of grief or confusion, there's the potential for it to lash out at the other Luci, the Wigglers, or the Mother Grub herself. We Jade Bloods cannot let that happen! She looks so concerned, a marked contrast to how confident she seemed before now. You offered to help her out earlier, and it seems like now's your chance. Someone has to stop that rogue Lucis. Could that someone be you? Be a weenie. Fight the monster, save the day, you've got this. The bison Lucis seems to be causing quite a ruckus. Other Luci have now gotten riled up too, with some of them trying to gather wigglers to keep them out of harm's way, and others just getting hyped to thrash. It seems like it could turn into a monster stampede, and they're close to the Mother Grub's big, soft, vulnerable abdomen. Not great. Fighting a monster single-handed seems like a daunting first step in a friendship, but you did tell her you could be responsible. You square your shoulders and tell Bronya that she has nothing to worry about. You're going to stop that Lucis, calm down all the other Luci, protect the Mother Grub, all without breaking a sweat, and hopefully without breaking any more bones either. Whoa there! I was going to suggest that I go after it while you stay here. You seem kind of weak and fragile, even apart from your injuries, I mean. I don't want you to get hurt worse, and I'm not sure I trust anyone other than myself to take the lead on this. That wasn't quite the reaction you were hoping for. Normally you would be all about sitting back and letting her protect you because, well, protective and responsible is a good look on her. But desperate times call for desperate measures, and you don't know how else you're going to prove yourself worthy to be her friend. You do your best to project an air of confidence, or at least competence. You assure her that this is no sweat for you. You take down raging bison back on your home planet all the time. You're known for it, actually. Oh, well, if you say this isn't your first undulate roping gallop expedition, I believe you. I'll hang back and I'll let you give it a shot. But if it gets too overwhelming in there, I'm right here. 1. Caring for the Mother Grub is my responsibility as a Jade Blood. 2. I'd never abandon a friend to deal with a mess on their own. If we end up being friends, that is. Oh, hell yes. Now you have reason to hope. You approach the rampaging bison with caution. Do all bison have horns like that? Maybe they do. You're no bison expert. But you're pretty sure they don't all have teeth that nasty. Bison on Earth eat mostly grass, don't they? This guy doesn't look like a herbivore. At first you try to calm the Lucis down by talking to it, but your soothing words have no effect. In fact, you might have just made it even angrier by suggesting that it pause and take some deep breaths in reaction to its trampled charge. You're not even sure it can understand human speech, come to think of it? You circle around it, wishing that you had some kind of lasso or something. Maybe you can herd it away from the Mother Grub. You look around to see if any of the other Luci look vaguely like Earth Shepherd dogs, but no dice. You hesitate too long and the Lucis turns away, its furious eyes falling on the Mother Grub. Oops! It stamps its hooves, snorts air out of its nostrils, and screams in a way that sound a lot more hellish than you imagine normal bison are capable of. It's obviously about to charge and you can only think of one thing to do. In desperation, you leap forward and tackle it football style, doing everything you can with your flimsy human body to drag it onto its side. It half works. You plow into the Lucis and stop it in its tracks, but it topples over onto a nest of wigglers, taking you down with it. Wigglers and young trolls go bouncing everywhere, squealing in distress, and their Luci descend upon you in a rage. Everything is chaos for a while, trapped beneath the bison Lucis, which is very worrying for all your body parts, and you think you might feel something important rupturing inside of you. But hey, on the bright side, this crushing mass is protecting you from all the other pissed off Luci trying to attack you. Just as your whole breathing situation is starting to get dicey, you hear a commotion and what sounds like possibly the trouncing of some of the smaller Luci that were trying to get to you. The crowd of beasts around you scatters, and then you hear her. Oof, I'm having a hard time getting this thing off of you, and he's still very angry. He keeps trying to kick me. Well, where's a bronze blood when you need one? You don't know what that means, but you're very grateful that she's here to help you. You try to communicate this, but it comes out garbled from all the blood in your mouth. Maybe don't try to speak, or move, or help. You experience a sinking feeling that could be related to your diminishing odds of impressing Bronya and becoming her friend, or it could be the compression of all your internal organs. Either way, it's tough to feel optimistic right now. But before you can give in to complete despair, you hear other voices. Your view is blocked by the mass of bison flesh on top of you, but could it be? Are these other people here to save you? Finally! I was wondering where you had all gotten off to. Let's all work together, girls! You two grab his horns to keep the head still and keep it from biting anyone. Two, the rest of you come around with me to its backside so we can push it without getting kicked. You hear some grunting and some muttering and the bison starts making noises as I'm more confused and less furious. The pressure and the pain on your chest briefly spike in intensity as the thing's weight shifts, and then they must succeed in dragging it off you because suddenly you can breathe again. But the crisis is not yet over, while you're still testing the use of your lungs and blinking up at the cavern ceiling. You hear a new cacophony of enraged monster noises. Uh-oh. The other Luci are still agitated. Get down there and try to calm them down. Protect the mother grub! You try to lift yourself to see what's going on, but putting any weight on your arms makes you feel like maybe all your bones got turned to confetti. Painful, painful confetti. You feel strong hands propping you up gently. Now your head is in Bronya's lap. Ooh. Yeah? Hmm? 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 Yes? You try to focus more on how this is a nice place for your head to be and less on the pain. This is not good. I don't know if my jades can reach the stampede in time and the mother grub could get injured. Not to mention all these wigglers are in danger. Oh no! You didn't think the situation could get any worse.
Poggers!
Fuckers!
You didn't think the situation could get any worse, but now you see that several of the Imperial drones that had been about to leave the cavern are turning back, drawn by all the noise and chaos. Maybe this could be a good thing? Maybe they can still instill some order? Fuck! They're going to kill everyone! She scrambles to her feet, in the process letting your head whack down on the cave floor. Your vision swims, but you can still make out the drones firing indiscriminately at the Luci, at the grubs and wigglers, and at the jade bloods. One laser beam skims the side of the mother grub's massive midsection, and her scream is so loud that the ceiling shakes, and a few stalactites shake loose, falling on drones and Luci and wigglers alike. It's a total catastrophe. A whole rainbow's worth of troll, wiggler, and Lucis blood is splattering on the cavern walls. Bronya seems paralyzed by the chaos, looking from her jades to the mother grub to the imperiled wigglers like she's not sure who to help first. I can't believe it. This is the worst disaster we've ever had down here. And all because I thought I could sit back and let someone else be responsible for once. If I were a less secure person, I could let this moment plant a seed of self-doubt in my mind and my ability to take care of others and do my job well. Or I could chalk it up to you being a really fucking stupid. You shrink under the weight of her glare. She's green in the face from how angry she is. You swallow and manage to spit out enough blood to ask a question that you already know is hopeless. Does this mean you can't be friends? Are you serious right now? I do not make friends with anyone who recklessly endangers the trolls and wigglers under my care. I killed them all! I just can't help but kill babies, I think. Well, I wanna go back to the first volume and try to befriend Blue Lady. I wanna befriend everybody. Whee! I'll do whatever you say. Whee! Build the table. Whee! Oh, don't build the table, I guess. I thought there was another choice in there. No table. I'm gonna get the hell out of there. Bye! First you clear your head and try to think innocent thoughts. Fluffy clouds in the sky, ironing some clothes. A winning touchdown pass from the sports. Ardada's long black hair spilling over her cloak. Wait, those are not innocent thoughts! Shut it down, shut it down! There's no time for thinking. You have to act. You have to hurl the screwdriver at her and run! She calmly lifts a hand toward one of the kids in the cages. The kid tenses up and lifts a hand in the direction of the screwdriver. The screwdriver freezes midair right in front of Ardada's head. You run up the stairs. She twitches a finger. The caged kid does a full body spasm, and the screwdriver goes sailing toward you. It stabs deep into your leg, and you buckle over, tumbling backward down the stairs. You're a crumpled heap at the bottom of the stairs, bleeding, and you think your arm is broken in 2 places now. That didn't seem very friendly to me. Luckily for you, I'm very determined to make relationships work. Even ones with people who flee simple furniture assembly projects. She stands over you. You attempt to pull the screwdriver out of your leg, but your entire body locks up. You can't move. She holds an outstretched hand just above you. You shouldn't try to move yet. You certainly shouldn't try to pull out that screwdriver. You'll get blood everywhere. To my 3 little eyes, under the present conditions, it seems to me that only one of us should attempt walking up these stairs. You feel relieved. Perhaps she has some alien means of levitating you up the stairs? Oh, wait, no. Your body's tensing up again. It's moving without your permission. You get to your feet without taking the screwdriver out. Wow, that hurts. What is she making you? Wait. What? She can't be. You use both your arms and all your strength and pick her up entirely. The pain from your arm is excruciating. Arms with broken bones are not meant for heavy lifting. The additional weight on your wounded leg isn't great either. You hold her as a groom would hold a bride. She wraps her arms around your neck to hang on to you in what strikes you as an overly familiar manner. She looks directly into your eyes and grins. This is better. Now, onward and upward, new friend. Your legs begin to operate without your consent. They wobble and struggle under the weight. The wound throbs. You lumber back up the long flight of stairs, carrying her all the way. You take her back to the kitchen and set her down in a chair seated at the table. You didn't think I'd forget all about dinner time, did you? Let's put your unfriendly behavior behind us. It's a good thing for you that I'm benevolent enough to overlook disgusting acts of betrayal. You may have noticed I keep several friends in my hive who I have similarly forgiven. Consider the transgression blood beneath the abattoir. You exhale. Now that she mentions it, yes, you are hungry. Maybe a warm meal will lift your spirits and get this heretofore turbulent friendship back on track. Maybe you'll even get a chance to pull this screwdriver out of your leg. You pull out a chair and attempt to sit down, but your legs lock up, and then you stand again. Apparently this was not the right thing to do. Oh, but why are you sitting? There's cooking to be done. Oh. You stagger mechanically over to the fridge and open it. You pull out a large pack of some sort of alien mystery meat, put it on the counter. But with your broken arm, you reach in anguish for a big, dangling meat cleaver. You chop the hawk, wincing with each swing of the cleaver. You place the sliced meat in a frying pan, sear it lightly, and serve it on a plate very rare, just the way your new friend likes it. You didn't know that's the way she likes it, but you surmise this is what she prefers in a piece of meat, since technically she is the one doing the cooking. You put it on the table in front of her, along with a fork and knife beside it. Your muscles relax, as you apparently are allowed to control your own body again. She does nothing except for look at you with a pleased expression. You eye the meat in front of her, then the meat on the counter, and the chair on the other side of the table. What should you do? Prepare a plate for yourself? Is that what she wants you to do? Yes, I do the cooking. Yes, I do the cleaning. Well, it looks like you're confused. Isn't it obvious what to do next under your own volition? A good friend would know what to do. In fact, I don't think a good friend would take nearly as long to decide what the right thing to do is. It actually seems to me that a very rude friend would hesitate for as long as you are hesitating. Or perhaps someone who is not a friend at all? You begin to sweat again. You clearly don't have much time to make up your mind. If you wait for even a few seconds longer, you probably will be guilty of being a bad friend. Maybe even a dreadful one. It's not the type of person you like to think that you are. What will you do? Feed. This feels like the only obvious thing to do. She's looking up at you with quite expectantly. You reach for the fork with your good arm. You go for the knife with your other. Ow. You can't do it. The arm is much less serviceable when the muscles are not being forced by a psychic override to disregard the pain response. Nevertheless, she looks at you patiently and smiles. That's nice of her, you think, not to be mad about it. You feel like you're growing closer to your new friend by the minute. You put the fork down and pick up the knife with your good arm. You cut the meat into several pieces with a careful sawing motion. Very good, nice technique. Well-sized morsels, too. She chews the meat with excellent form. She has very good table manners, you think. When she finishes the pieces, you slice off some more and continue. The meat looks very good. Your mouth is watering, but she doesn't offer any. Oh well, when it's the right time for you to eat too, you're sure she'll let you know. The meal is finished. There is no more meat except for a few pieces of unchewable gristle, which you did not try to feed her. That would be thoughtless. Very bad service. She reclines and steeples her fingers, looking quite pleased with how the evening has gone so far. You aren't sure why she's laughing? Did you do something funny? Oh my! What a fool! You point at yourself. Me? Me? You point at yourself, wondering if she's referring to you. You don't know what you've done that was foolish, if so. You're also still not sure what she finds so amusing. She pauses from her laughter for a minute or two, then slowly begins to frown. A faint blue tear rolls down her cheek from her bottom eye. The truth is, I don't even know why I'm laughing. This isn't very funny, what's happening here. It was a good dinner. You did a good job, whoever you are. She puts her face in both her hands and sobs quietly. You have no idea what to do about this. You stand there, still holding a fork, feeling a bit useless. There is a lot of pressure, you know. Being so respected and admired from your high status in this world. I didn't ask for this, to be superior to so many. Much is expected of you. Much is presumed about what your personality will be before you even develop one. You work hard. You build a brand based only on what you think people will assume you should be like. Sometimes I wonder, am I even that good at being sinister? Could I be more sinister if I tried harder? maybe this is not my true calling after all. You begin to offer words of sympathy. This all seems heartbreaking to you. Your poor new friend. But your jaw muscles contract and your mouth shuts involuntarily. You guess it's not your turn to speak yet? Okay, that works for you. You like to be a good listener to your friends. But what would happen if I changed my brand? If I stopped being so sinister online? My friends and followers would deride and reject me. And my superiors will eat me alive. If I show weakness, if I scale back on my bloodthirsty content, will I incur the scorn of a wise-ass clown with 100 million subscribers? That's me. That's me. I'm that clown. I have 100 million subscribers. 100 million. That's right. You heard it here. And I'm a clown. Will I be in a cage someday, listening to a fucking fool honk his horn for likes? No, I must persist. How lonely it is to know that this is all I can do until the day I leave this planet. I have no material or sensory comforts left for me here. Until I can get on a ship and fly away, pain is my only solace. Your hand holding the fork grips it tighter. You're horrified to realize what it is in the process of doing. You bring it down hard on her hand, which is placed flat on the table. She doesn't flinch or react in any way. Oh god, it's that scene in Always Sunny with Dennis. With the darts. 3 trails of cerulean blood flow from the tines where they pierce her skin. That wasn't friendly, you think? But then you weren't the one who did it? Were you? You're so confused. My subscribers are not real friends. They adore me only for my sinister content. The show I provide, my wicked, infectious laughter. I get jealous of them sometimes because they get to watch my content. It must be thrilling, I think, but maybe. I'm just jealous of them because they get to be people who aren't me. This is fucking deep. I know. Apologies if you cannot relate. Sinfluencer, so good. Oh my god. I love that. I want to steal that. She pulls the fork out of her hand and lays it gently on the plate of gristle you didn't feed her. The people downstairs in their cages aren't my friends either. They act like they're my friends though, and sometimes I even believe it. But they really don't want to be friends with me. Nobody does. The only person who's ever really wanted to be my friend, who's ever tried to be, is you? You clear your throat and point to yourself innocently. Me? Me? That's it. I've decided. You have passed the test. You will become my friend, officially. As such, I think a reward is in order. You're overjoyed. Your heart starts racing. You can't believe it. A new real friend. But you don't have much time to enjoy this achievement. Your body is doing something again. You bend down in a strained motion and pick up the plate and fork. You position the plate over your wide open mouth and scrape in all the remaining gristle and begin chewing. It's virtually inedible. Your mouth humors the act of chewing for 2 seconds and then you swallow all of it whole in one painful gulp. Tastes like friendship. I really enjoy this art. I like it. It's good. Okay. Now we just have to not fuck up the Jade Blood one, and then we'll have all the friends up until now. Yay! Okay. Whee! I'll heal on my own just fine. Whee! I'm gonna be a weenie. You definitely do not like the idea of wading into a monster fight, not even to save the progenitor of your new friend's species. In fact, you don't like that Bronya is so focused on protecting all these helpless toddlers and distressed animals instead of taking care of you. I won't kill them all this time. I hope. I promise. I probably have one more choice. I might fuck it up. You stammer out that you don't think you can take on any kind of monster right now. In fact, you just felt another stab of pain in your ribs. You might be blacking out. Bronya's concerned face turns in your direction as you start to swoon. She catches you before you hit the ground, and your heart flutters. You look up at her serious face, and she looks like such a mom. Mommy? But also such a friend. Friend? Like some sort of combination of these two concepts. Mom friend. Oh, yikes, you don't look so good. I can't leave you alone, not when you're in such bad shape. Maybe I could carry you on my back while I try to stop the rampaging Lucis? Your heart flutters turn to pinpricks of alarm. That sounds dangerous, mainly for you. You try to think of what you can say to dissuade her, something other than, I think you should ignore the helpless babies and mother in danger behind you in favor of continuing to hold me in your strong arms. But before you can speak, you hear a commotion behind her. She turns to look over her shoulder, and her face sags with relief. Oh yes, the other Jades are here! They should know what to do. We've taken care of crises like these before. Of course, I'm usually there to help. If you crane your neck, you can just glimpse a crowd of trolls corralling the rogue Lucis away from the mother grub, while the other trolls calm the remaining Luci and swoop up any wrigglers in harm's way. Oh, it looks like I needn't have worried. They're more than capable of stepping in while I'm otherwise occupied. I'm so proud! You take this opportunity to compliment her on what a good leader she must be, to have trained the others so well, super smooth. She beams at you and sets you down carefully on the cavern floor, kneeling at your side. This would have gone quite badly. I'm glad I didn't make the wrong choice when I stayed to help you instead of rushing off. It just goes to show, sometimes the best thing you can do for the group is take care of the weakest person in it. You kind of want to object to be calling the weakest person, but you did just fake a fainting spell for attention, so maybe now isn't the best time. Instead, you thank her sincerely for sticking by your side. The two of you watch together as order is gradually restored to the chaos below, and even with your injuries, you feel close to content and quite hopeful about how this relationship is progressing. You notice that at your side, several wigglers are blindly squirming around, confused and crying. There are some young trolls here too, looking around all lost and bereft. You're not sure if their Luci ran off with the others that got involved in the fracas? Or if these little guys are orphans now. Now that you're seeing them out in the natural cavern light, the wigglers look less like maggots to you. In fact, they're even kind of cute. You can see why Bronya would want to take care of them. One of the smallest wigglers closest to you has somehow flipped himself over onto his back and seems unable to right himself, his little legs waving in the air while he cries. Trying to be careful with your ribs, you reach out to scoop him up and cradle him to your chest, rocking him back and forth until his cries quiet down. Wow, you have a very strong nurturing instinct. I think he likes you. You almost look like you could be his Lucis, or a Jade Blood. You're pleased that she approves of your caretaking display. The wiggler's cough breaks through your haze of smug satisfaction, and when you look down, you realize he seems to be having some trouble breathing. You point this out to Bronya. Good observation. You really are a natural at taking care of other creatures, aren't you? Some people find that nurturing ability to be very attractive in a new potential friend. Yes! But as for the Wiggler, this is definitely not a good sign. I'm surprised that none of these drones have noticed that he's sick. If we leave him here, he'll be cold for sure. Bronya takes the Wiggler from you, and you're more than happy to hand him over considering that you have no idea what to do with a sick baby that's not your species. Also, your broken ribs make holding a baby kind of painful, and Bronya holds the Wiggler carefully but with perfect ease. Just like you hope she'll cradle your new friendship in its infancy. Once Bronya feels assured that her Jades have the situation at the Brooding Caverns under control, you both take the Wiggler back to the Jade Blood Nursery. You hover around uselessly while Bronya sets up some kind of crib filled with green slime. You're a little concerned when she takes the Wiggler and submerges him under the slime, because, like, he was already having trouble breathing? Surely drowning him in slime won't help? Soper should help strengthen his bellow sacs and soothe his sorrow shoot. When he gets healthy again, I'll take him back to the cavern and set him free to make his cocoon and pupate. But he's so small. It's unlikely that he'll survive the trials, or be selected by a Lucis. You hate to see Bronya looking so sad. You try to be sympathetic, mentioning your astute observation that this whole system set up with the Wigglers and the trials and the culling seems pretty brutal. What? Oh no, I would never suggest. This is just the way the world works, and it's fine. The trials are how young trolls prove that they're strong enough to survive. It's only right for the weak to be culled. It's the purpose of Jade Bloods to ensure the continuation of our species, and consequently the hemo spectrum. 1, we are not revolutionaries. 2, we are meant to do our jobs, keep our heads down, and keep things running smoothly. 3, I would never presume to question the basic tenets of Alternian society. That would bring negative attention from the High Bloods, and I just want to keep my Jades safe. You look around at the nursery, and all these injured or underdeveloped Wigglers that Bronya was apparently supposed to let die. You think it might not be true that she doesn't question the way her world works. She's looking at it like she's scared you'll call her on it and expose her altruistic tendencies. You try to salvage this conversation thread. Did you say that culling Wigglers sounded brutal? You meant neutral! Yes, you feel 100% neutral on the topic, neither committed to the culling side of things, nor eager to take up arms in revolution. Yes, neutral is how I feel about it as well. What a good word to describe exactly how I feel about all controversial political subjects. Did I mention that keeping this nursery isn't technically illegal? Because it isn't. Technically, there is no reason for any of Triz's drones to come investigating our hive, and if any drones do come knocking, we have nothing to hide. No borderline revolutionary ideas will be tolerated within these walls. Bronya laughs nervously and looks around the room, like she's making sure that any Imperial drones hiding in here heard her announcement. You feel bad for how nervous she is. You didn't mean to freak her out. You tell her that she sounds super convincing, and why shouldn't she? She's clearly telling the truth. If you were an Imperial drone, you would definitely be satisfied right now with her clearly law-abiding and neutral ways. Thank you, it means a lot. You cast about for something to change the subject, and mention that your ribs are feeling a bit better. Bronya's face brightens, and she lifts up your arm gently so she can touch the injured part of your torso, examining it in her typically responsible and authoritative way. You shiver and wonder if her touch has healing properties. I'm glad to hear that. After all, I don't like it when my friends suffer. Friend! Your heart leaps. You look up, scarcely allowing yourself to hope. Could it be? Or was she just making a general statement? If you're not in any more pain, hopefully that means your injuries will heal soon. I'll take care of you until then. My friend. Ah! You are overcome. Your eyes fill with tears. Bronya smiles at you and squeezes your hand. Woo! Woo! Yay! Mom friend! Mom friend! Yay! I'm happy. So it seems like I probably do this chapter. So probably get through like 4 in a stream. Oh my god. It's just 4 and then it's a second. Oh, it's gonna be so long before I can see him. Oh, we'll get there. Getting real late on your end. Get some sleep, perp. Thanks for hanging out. Get some good rest. East Coasters, staying up late to listen to funny troll video. The VOD will be there. The VOD will be there for you. It's okay. Fresh from your most recent bout of gratuitous bodily injury and touching scenes of camaraderie, you soldier on. I'm going to take a sippy of my drink too. Yum, 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 yum. Was fun to see. Oh, I'm glad you like my model. The friendship is very fun. I'm having like even more fun than I expected. Good night. You've had a few setbacks, made a couple silly choices. Boy, do things just keep happening. But let nobody say that you, the main character, are incapable of growth and change. You've made sure not to be caught in the wilderness near dawn again. You've made your way back to civilization. You can't wait to discover what new adventures await you. Adventures like friendship. This guy looks like a little bitch. This guy looks cool as hell. But I think I want the funny guy first. You wander down a street in a not too demolished looking part of town, but you don't really take much of it in. You're not looking where you're going. This is an elementary mistake, especially on a planet where everything that exists seems to be on a spectrum of engineered specifically for murder to could be a weapon in a pinch, but you've got a lot on your mind. And now, as the car, these guys probably have some ridiculous word for it, but you haven't learned it yet. You hadn't noticed slams into you, sending you flipping head over feet. You add a few new concerns to your list, your bones and organs. The sound of the driver yelling, "Watch where you're going, lump squirt chugger," fades as they drive away, and you assess your situation. You stretch each limb in turn, which you've gotta say doesn't feel great. You've landed in a bush which is covered in sharp spines. Your arms and legs still work though, and when you do an experimental cough, no blood comes out. Pretty lucky, you think? You may have redefined what luck means by this point in your journey, but you'll take what you can get. You don't figure that luck will extend to the driver turning around to help you out of this bush. Your gazes meeting and sparking an immediate and intense connection that leads to a beautiful lifelong friendship, but you let yourself hope. After a few minutes of struggle, the answer to your comradely daydreams comes into focus above you. A figure outlined by the spiny leaves of your plant prison and the glow of the moons. The troll you see isn't the driver of the car, but you don't care. Your heart is beating wildly with your continued lucky streak. Hello. You seem to have fallen victim to a collide and scamper with that scuttlebuggy back there. Is this Better Call Saul? Have you contacted your personal legislator? If not, I'd like to offer my services. My name is Tagora Gorjek, but please call me Gorgor. I'm here for you, for a nominal fee, of course. Did you know that you have rights? I know that the Constitution says so. He's taking my money. He pulls out a business card from his sleek teal vest and offers it to you with the precise flick of the wrist. His claw beds are perfect. You try to sit up, buoyed by this offer for assistance. He's some type of doctor, maybe? Or lawyer? Doesn't matter, really, because he said he was here for you. Those words go right ahead and burn themselves onto the softest chamber of your heart. You start telling him your plight thus far, reaching up through the brambles toward this beacon of hope. This guy seems trustworthy, and that's not just your lack of options talking, you swear. As you shift, the moonlight shines on you. He steps back briefly, dropping the card. One eye that's not covered by a swoop of product-infused hair opens wide. He recovers, smoothing his hands down his chest and straightening up, clearing his throat as you continue to explain. You're what? Oh, yes, an alien. I knew that. I've done work with the aliens before, so your situation shouldn't be an issue at all. Everyone deserves an equal opportunity to be represented by me. In fact, we may be able to use this in our favor for a large cash settlement. It all depends on our angle. Here, try moving your chug column. You aren't sure why this is necessary, but you wiggle your torso, hoping that's right. You've never wanted anything more in your meager existence than to follow this specific directive perfectly. No, not that. You add a little hip jiggle. Not so much that he might think it's a come on, but enough to say, hey, I'm friendly, and I know what the fuck I'm doing. No, you're the thing that holds up your think pan. Work with me. You continue, you hope, is part of a troll friendship ritual, shimmying various parts of your anatomy deeper into the bush until you get to your neck, and he clasps his hand together. There we go. That one hurt, didn't it? Definitely a case of column snap, which can get us a decent, hefty restitution. Your neck feels fine, or it doesn't hurt any more than the rest of you, but you give him what you hope is a convincingly painful nod of agreement. Of course, you will need to front the initial legislation costs. We may also have to injure you further to ensure our case is convincing, but you've got to break a few cluckbeast embryos to make a grublet, as you well know. Yes, I think we will make a mutually beneficial team if you're willing to do what it takes to bring about the justice you deserve. So what do you say? How would you like to help me? Help you? He's talking really fast, and you're not sure exactly what to think of your lack of funds or the idea of breaking any more bones, but that smile is sharp and shiny and pointed right at you. You want more of it. I know he's gonna leave. Tell him I have heaps of money. You mentioned how incredibly loaded you are and how core to your sense of values it is to pay well for good work. That's what we call good business. Now, get up out of that prickle front and let's get you presentable. He watches you flail a few times before he sighs, unbuttons his sleeves, and rolls them up to his elbows. Each fold is crisp and even. It takes a while, but you are very good at being patient. There is a 12% cost increase for instances of manual labor. It'll be explained in your bill. Oh, it's itemized. I'm sure an alien of means such as yourself will be able to handle it. You take his hand and he pulls you up and out of the bush. It's kind of a rough job. He's not as strong as he looks, you guess. He glares at you like he's daring you to say shit about it, and you are a quick learner. He cuts you off mid-thank you. My office isn't far from here. We can go there to get things started. And by things, I absolutely mean get you clean and sign a lot of vaguely worded yet stringently binding documents. He walks with a purpose. You shake off the flora stuck in your various body parts and do your best to catch up. From the outside, his office basically seems just like his hive. You've learned a thing or two during this shitstorm of cultural exchange, though. You've got to play it cool when a potential friend invites you home. You never know what kind of cages or monsters or methods of evisceration they might have laying around, and you want to prepare for a nice, chill look on your face for whatever carnage you're about to be confronted by. Oh, ferret! I love ferret! It's cute. It doesn't work. Your face falls to bewildered hell when you walk inside because it's all chrome and glass and broad white walls in here. It looks like he bought the fanciest looking crate and barrel display room he could find down to the last useless minimalist accessory and then never sat down in it. His loosest of ferret is chilling on an enormous silver thing that's halfway between a throne and a play tower. Everything is clean and bright and at perfect right angles, and you don't see any weapons anywhere. It's fucking creepy. You ask him if he just moved in because polite conversation seems like maybe the best thing you can do. In the absence of something specific to focus your fear on, you're just sort of a little afraid of everything. You're not paying me to learn my life story, unless you'd like to. In that case, no. I've lived here most of my life. I'll go ahead and add that to your bill. Oh my god! You stare at one of the chairs. Should you sit in it? By all means, do not make yourself at home. Head straight to my ablution trap while I prepare our contract. You really want to connect with this guy, and you like how you just vibed there, where you were thinking about sitting your bedraggled ass in his fancy chair, and he could totally tell you were thinking it, but you don't want to be friends badly enough to walk straight into something that has the word trap right there in its name without at least pondering it for a second. You become savvier during all this. I'm taking a bath. You're more than a little concerned about the trap part of the instructions you just received, but hey, at least a trap you know is better than one that you don't. And with everything else you can see so freaky pristine, he has to be hiding some evil somewhere. You wonder if it's a dungeon that could be cool. Ferret! The ferret bounds down off its pedestal and jerks its head for you to follow it. You do, because it seems like a regular thing to do, and Tagora is busy on his computer. Oh, what a cute bathroom! It leads you up to a bathroom, which is just as fancy and clean as everything else you've seen. The Lucis chitters at you for a second, squirms its big noodle body around, and leaves, shutting the door behind it. You wait a second till it's probably gone before you test the handle. It's unlocked. Huh. You wonder what the point or, motive might be for leading you into this room until you turn and see yourself in the mirror. That is some haggard-looking stuff right there. So, fair. You're flying by the seat of your pants, but you guess maybe you're supposed to take a bath? If not, and he gets pissed and unleashes the ferret on you, at least you'll meet your maker nice and clean. You have expected some indiscernible goo or blood or something to come out of the faucet in the weird lumpy tub, but thankfully it's just water. There are 3 shelves of little bottles and soaps and unidentifiable leathersome accessories by the tub alone. There's even more by the mirror. The labels are all gibberish, of course, but you sniff a few until you find something flowery and go to town. You take more time than you should in there, but you haven't experienced a moment of luxurious solitude in a bit. Full-time friendship searching can be difficult work. It's good to recharge. Once you're freshly scrubbed and dried, you slather yourself head to toe with some lotion you find in an iridescent vial. You hope he won't mind you using it. He wants you to be presentable, and this stuff is sparkly. You're starting to feel rejuvenated as all hell. Ready to knock this friendship stuff right out of the park. You leave your dirty, torn up old clothes on the floor, wrap yourself in one of many satin bathrobes folded on a shelf, and head back out to find Tagora. He's standing in his foyer, waiting with the contract he's typed up for you. When he sees you, his eyebrow ticks up. I see that you went with the Rainbow Drinker Serum, full body application. Bold choice. I mean, it's an incredibly rare and expensive product, and I do expect to be remunerated, but I won't lie, it works. Oh! Yeah, sure, that stuff. You don't want to let on that you don't know what it is, since he seems impressed. Instead, you give his ego a little stroke and tell him you hadn't seen such a sumptuous array of self-care accoutrements in so long that you couldn't help yourself. Not everyone takes skincare as seriously as they should. I assumed you were taking forever in there because you'd gotten lost or didn't know how to use the ablution trap. I hadn't considered the possibility you were just doing your regimen. Noted. You hold your arms out to admire the well-hydrated sheen you have going on. This time you're not really even bullshitting. It just does actually look pretty good. Tagora seems like he's struggling. He keeps opening his mouth to say something, then changing his mind. He's clutching the documents in his hands like a flotation device. He looks down at them, then back at you. I typically only use that particular product to highlight my cheek blades, but there's no real reason you shouldn't apply it more liberally, especially if cost isn't an issue. It's a little drastic for my personal style, but there is a certain unorthodox glamour to it. The next bit looks like it hurts him a bit to get out. Do you Would you like to step outside to see the full effect? You bet your ass you would. You're curious about what he means by the effect. This seems like more fun than signing stuff. He places the documents down on his desk like they're made of glass, not paper. He looks up at his Lucis, who just sort of tilts its head to the side. You look away and give them privacy to do whatever eyeball communication is going on. After a bit, Tagora clears his throat and heads towards the door. You don't comment on the bluish flush in his cheeks. For all the shift in his demeanor, he still seems like he might kick you out on your ass if you tried to get too feelingsy with him. You start to glow as soon as you step back out into his dark front yard. Not in a light bulb kind of way, but in a subtle, ethereal luminescence. What is this stuff? Now that is a look. I mean, there's still the unfortunate issue of your hornlessness and your overall aberrance. And the fact that you're still wearing my ablution robe. But it's cutting edge, I'll give you that. You look almost like a real one. I don't know what that means. You don't know what that means? But you want to roll around eternally in the praise part? You ask if the look will help your case. Or, oh, right, your case, of course. He bites his lip and looks back through the window at the papers sitting on the desk where he left them. Bro! Are you catching feelings for me, bro? You hope he still wants to represent you, or at least that he'd want to hang out, even if he wasn't going to. You don't get a chance to prod, though, because right then someone rounds the corner on the sidewalk in front of his hive. Tagora's face immediately shudders into its usual simpering mask. There's an edge of panic around his eye, though. Huh. Wow, Gorjek, what have you got here? It's a blue-themed troll, which, if you remember right, means he's a fancier guy than Tagora. He's grinning like Troll Christmas came early. You can feel Tagora vibrating out of his skin next to you. Who even is this guy? When he gets close enough to get a good look at you, he jumps and screeches, "What the budge boiling fuck?" Tagora is frozen, the corner of his mouth pulled back to show his teeth. The new guy is ignoring him in favor of noticing that you're dressed in Tagora's monogrammed leisure wear. If his look of fascinated horror is anything to go by, you don't really know what makes you do it. You should wait for Tagora to get himself together to do the talking, but you're riding the high of him almost seeming like he was enjoying your company. Plus, nothing boosts confidence like looking like a beautiful, spooky angel. So you toss your head and put on your best fancy guy voice and say, "What? Never seen a real one before?" You're placing all your chips on this guy knowing something you don't. But when his eyes get huge and he starts stumbling over himself to back away down the sidewalk, you know it's paid off. Tagora blinks, then jumps right in, picking up directly where you left off. Surely someone as well-informed as yourself knows a rainbow drinker when he sees one. The blue guy doesn't respond with anything more coherent than a string of yelps as he hightails it back the way he came. When he's gone, you turn to Tagora and ask him super casually what a rainbow drinker is. He stares at you in stunned silence. Are you telling me you didn't know? You nod. That you ran away with it, exploiting the fear you picked up on to turn the tide of a delicate encounter with your favor? You shrug. You guess so? You tell Tagora you hope his friend wasn't too freaked out. Friend? No, I hate that guy. There are simply times when being liked by your betters is helpful. Though technically, fearing me is just as good. Better, maybe. So, you know. Thank you. Tagora's laugh is soft. It's not a sound you expected to hear. He's happy because of something you did. You can't help it. You start laughing too. That was a bit of a rush, wasn't it? It was almost fun. You certainly didn't see it coming anyway. I certainly didn't see it coming anyway. I underestimated you. He gives you an appraising look and takes a deep breath. You're so nervous all of a sudden, you feel unbalanced on the precipice of what he might be about to say. From one prevaricator to another, I will let you in on something. I haven't actually encountered an alien before. Oh, sweet relief. You tell him his act was airtight, and as long as everyone's doing the true thing, you admit you lied a bit too. You aren't actually rich. Yes, that's clear now. You have the invaluable ability to fake it, though. That's potentially much better. Why don't we put your case on hold for the time being? You wouldn't have enjoyed the outcome of our legal system anyways. We can find an alternate means of you working off your debt. I think we make a better team than I previously anticipated. With our wits combined, we can tackle bigger and better things than traffic injuries. He flexes his hands at his side and then in one swift, decisive moment extends it out to you. On his face is something close to an honest-to-God, real-ass smile. I've never actually formed a legitimate partnership of any sort before, but I believe this is how it's done. What do you say? The glow in your heart shines brighter than any expensive and still kind of mysterious lotion. You take his hand in your firm, no-nonsense grasp of pure, inexorable joy and shake it. Wow! That was a faster one. It felt like. All right, let's do the last one. Last one before sleepy time. This guy! Who are you? It's probably best for you to stop trying to predict what's going to happen to you at this point. Everything that's kind of happened so far on this planet has been kind of chaotic. In fact, you're ready for something more familiar. You head back to the site of your abandoned spaceship. Sure, it's smashed beyond repair, but it's a little slice of home. Maybe at least one or two pieces of it are fixable. You march off in what you think is the right direction. But when you get there, you're not alone. A little guy in a hat and big goggles is standing there, gazing at your spaceship, maybe assessing it. As you watch, he breaks off a couple of gears and stuffs them in his pocket. Thief! Have some good sleep, Crash. I'll be going to bed soon, too. I want to get through 4 chapters because I want to meet the hot characters sooner rather than later. Hey, you clear your throat loudly. Good galloping gravy! Why, I've never seen the likes of you before. Oh, strange wonders the heavens have rained down upon us today. You quickly lose any indignation you were building up. He's smiling at you and his words seem at least somewhat amicable. Oh, I saw nap and I blanked out. Oh, you're gonna be up for a while because you took a nap. I was so close to taking a nap. I was so close. I'm clearly very tired because I'm bad at reading. I woke up way too early today. And now I'm going to bed way too late. Woo! Maybe you got this all wrong. Maybe this is the next person you're gonna get chummy with. You cut right to the chase. No point in beating around the ground leaf covering. That's probably what they call it on this planet. You let this guy know that you're the proprietor of the spaceship he's stripping, and you're in mighty need of a new friend. Friend, eh? A bosom companion, a pal about town? I've seen nary a Tom, Ann, Dickus, or Harry around these parts who might fit the bill. You were kind of trying to imply that this guy could be your friend? Is it too late to say that now? You try to imply it with your eyebrows. As for me, day-to-day matters here on Alternia interest me not, for I care only about hurtling at great speeds through the boundless expanse of the cosmos. That's right, space. It is space flight that consumes my every waking thought and all my ardor. As in accordance with my duty as a future Alternian crusader, of course. No oxygen, no wind, a total vacuum. That is the life for me, all right? Flying in space, above the atmosphere, not within the realm of gravity's purview. Wouldn't have it any other way. Right. You get the feeling you're missing something. This guy seems really defensive about his interest in spaceflight. Like, maybe he's trying to say something totally different? Whatever it is, his internal conflict clearly takes precedence over your issues. He seems like a great candidate for a friend, despite the fact his voice sounds like it belongs over a newsreel about World War II. Oh, hold on. I have just one query for you, sport, if you might be so bold. Do you also like spaceflight? Do you yearn to see the moon shining above the clouds whipping by you as you chase and tease the impish western wind? And then also keep going past that up into space? I love space! Well then, we are in total agreement. Two kindred souls traveling hand in hand to a glorious yet inevitable future of conscripted service in space. Which is, as I've definitely already made myself clear, a thing I most definitely and positively desire. So it seems we have nothing more to discuss. Toodaloo! Oh. Bye. Get back here. I'm gonna be your fucking friend. I hate spaceflight. His eyes widen. You see them sparkle? Ah, I see. You're an individual with more sophisticated palate. A real connoisseur of the buoyant arts you are. Someone like you could never be satisfied with the anemic affair of traveling through the inky blackness of the galaxies. I believe a jaunt to my hive is in order. Let's get a wiggle on. There was a lot going on there, but you understand that he wants you to follow him? The friendly guy takes you to a building where all of the rooms seem to be balanced on spindly-looking stilts. His hive soars above you up into the sky. He gestures to a little platform attached to a pulley system like a rudimentary elevator. It brings you up into a small, dark room. Oh my god! Look how cute! His house is pretty much what you would have guessed. The walls are covered in star maps and pictures of spaceships. These are cute! I like this little manta ray one. You notice that many of them have cheery slogans splashed across them, saying things like, explore the galaxies because you're required to fulfill your duty to society, and enlist, travel, make friends, don't get cold. Your new friend doesn't seem too happy as he looks around the place. Just the high for a dedicated spacecraft enthusiast, isn't it? You nod. You're not sure what this is leading to, but no one ever went wrong relying on non-specific and plausibly deniable agreement. Who am I fooling? You've rumbled me, my potential new chum. What you see before you is a collage of falsehoods. I'm nothing but an avatar of baloney. The truth, the myriad of temptations and desires of space do nothing to tickle my biscuit. The thought of participating in the glorious eternal conquest gives me the screaming memes. My interests lie in something a little lower down. He reaches up and peels back one of the posters. Behind it is another poster, this one showing a view of clouds in the night sky. Behold, my shame! The truth is, I long to toss and turn within the grasp of Mistress Gravity's sweet fingers. To traverse the sky, can such a thing be? Imagine flying within the confines of Alternia's very atmosphere, defying the very conventions of what we all know to be true. Instead of down, up, instead of falling, soaring. Could you imagine? Would you see it before you? This guy wants to invent airplanes, and they already have spaceships. Would you ever dream of the existence of such a flying machine? Airplanes exist. I brought you here to show you my truth, and you treat me to mockery! An airplane, a plane that floats in the air? Flying machines are a serious business. I think you should leave. No! I had to do it. I had to do it. All right, all right. Woo! I hate spaceflight. Woo! I've never heard of such a thing. But the future is ours to build, my strange-hued and unhorned comrade. What do you think? Does it excite you? Do my ideas rattle your buttons? You can't help but notice he's referred to you as a chum and a comrade, but friend hasn't made an appearance yet. Do synonyms count? Or is it just a tick of his speaking style? You look as earnest as you can and nod vigorously. You're almost positive that this is the thing he really wants you to express interest in. Aha! The truth will out. You and I share this furtive passion for the indulgences of the air, a dialogue between Troll, a flying machine, and the stars. But further away from the stars, then we would be in a spaceship. I cannot stress enough how different of a thing this is. You can't decide between nodding and shaking your head here, so you furrow your brow and do your best to look thoughtful. Like maybe you are contemplating the differences. This fellow's demeanor toward you is definitely shading to the more temperate climb zones. However, certain physical needs are starting to assert themselves. You're still pretty banged up from your previous adventures, but right now, the aching of your stomach is screaming for your attention. You humbly ask your friend to be if there might be any chance of getting a bite to eat. But of course! Why, if I had known you had a rumbling in the old digestion bladder, I would have shut my yapper toot sweet. Time for an old nosh, a yummy a rooney, what ho! Now, how should we obtain the victuals? We could venture into the great unknown, which is to say, out of my hive. Or we could stay here, beholden to whatever twists and turns Lady Fate has in store for us in the nutrition block. What say you, new timer? Let's stay in here. You tell him that any food he has in the house will be fine. Surely staying here will get you fed more quickly. No problem at all, my fine and fervent fellow. However, I believe two kindred souls such as ourselves have more ways of communicating than mere words alone. I think I'm grasping the meaning behind your request. Signal from your transmitter is pinging my cranial orb's receiver. I can see what you're truly after is food for the soul. Oh, fuck. You definitely meant food for the body. You look for an opening where you might gently correct your new buddy, but he seems to be working himself up to say a lot more things. The delectable nutrition of what a troll's truest being craves. The substance of thought, of imagination, of desire. That which nourishes the self better than the finest grub noodles. Art, passion, science. You must have a hankering to see my flying machine design sketches. Despite your troubles, you can't help but think his enthusiasm is kind of sweet. You nod weakly. You make one last attempt, indicating that food might strengthen you to fully appreciate his work. No need to worry. I am fully confident in your ability to take in my glorious blueprints. You have shown yourself to be quite the sturdy noggin and a discerning ganderbull. I would welcome your input. The warmth blooms in your stomach. It feels nice to hear him compliment you. You're not sure what you've actually done to earn his praise, but you definitely don't want to ruin this now. Maybe seeing his designs will be fun, even on an empty stomach. Maybe it really will nourish you on a level that will help you forget about the prosaic earthly nourishment you thought you wanted. You tell him you're in. Not so fast! That which I am planning to reveal to you is what I keep closest to my torso pillar. It's not that I don't trust you, my footloose and horn-free cohort. But I think I would like to trust you a little more before vivisecting myself and displaying my bleeding organs before your penetrating gaze, which is a metaphor for exposing my portfolio. Might I trouble you to participate in a small trust trial? No problem. Your bud insists you make yourself comfortable while he gets a few supplies. After a few minutes, he returns with a fistful of fabrics in different colors. Here's what's bouncing around in the old brain box of mine, buddy-o. I'm gonna tie this blindfold around your face. Then I'm gonna give you some instructions. Then you're gonna try and locate the case where I keep my treasured sketches. If you can find it, it's gotta mean we trust each other deeply. Like two wings working in unison to achieve liftoff. If that's how wings work, I'm still figuring out the principles of the matter. Oh, what a romp! Are you up for it? It's too late to turn back now, and really you don't want to. It's kind of a relief to have him tell you what you can do to earn his friendship in plain terms. Well, as plain as this guy's terms ever get. You give him a thumbs up. Now we're on the trolley! He quickly ties the fabric around your face. The time is upon us! Time for the inaugural fight of our deepening bond! Time to nudge our fledgling companionship out the nest and see what happens. Your new friend starts to direct you around the room. To the left! No, my left! Oh, sorry, okay, I meant your left. And now onwards to the glorious future that lies before us! You smile weakly, doing your best to follow his instructions. He sounds happy, so you must be getting somewhere. Almost to the doorway! 3 steps forward, if you would be so... Wait! Crash. You stagger backwards from the impact. You hear yourself wheeze. The shock has totally knocked your lungs out of commission. Your chest jerks in tiny contractions as you gasp for air. Oh, beans. Ding dang darn it. There's no pain, just an intense pressure focused on the center of your face, right around where you ran into something face first. You pull at the blindfold and you hear footsteps, which probably means your new friend is rushing over to help. He gets the blindfold untied, and his face swims into your vision. He looks utterly gobsmacked. Why, I'll be a horn beast grub food. Everything copacetic, new pal? You put your hand to your face and touch something wet. Surely enough, when you pull your fingers away, they're covered in blood. Your nose isn't gushing or anything, just sending out a couple rivulets to let you know it's having a bad day. It's not so bad. You tell your acquaintance this, but he doesn't look any less horrified. Shivering stratocumuli! All this time I've been testing you. See if I could place this tender gift of trust in your declawed little hands. And here you've bestowed upon me the greatest trust of all, knowledge of your non-standard hematological attributes. I am truly honored, flabbergasted. Absolutely pushed to the brink of rationality by such a display of faith. Never mind the trust trial, you deserve to see my sketches. Just wait here. Be back in 2 shakes of a baby Bobby's hindquarters. The pose of this particular silhouette. Oh, Constellation looks like a little duck. You sit down on the floor again, wiping the blood off your face. You're not going to question the stroke of luck you've been shown. Why, if you knew bleeding was the key to his affections all along, you could have encouraged some blood from the sites of your multiple injuries. But no matter. You sniff the last of the blood back up into your nostrils, tasting metal at the back of your throat. When your almost friend returns, he drops a big stack of papers onto your lap. You page through the designs. The first few are rudimentary, mostly variations on spaceships with little notes like, how do make it not reach escape velocity? And less jet fuel? Shape could be less aerodynamic? But as you keep going, the designs get pretty interesting. One seems to rely on some big rotating sails to achieve lift. Another shows like a light frame body to 4 jointed wings. You briefly wonder what he plans to make the wings out of before you see the note stating that these are dragon wings. A follow-up scribble states, flapping mechanism? How to soften rigor mortis? Oh god, it's the Homestuck! That's right! That's right! Cringe culture is dead! We're playing troll game! And we're having a great time! But hang on, you take a closer look at the machine's frame. This guy's sketch is pretty detailed. The frame doesn't seem to be made of wood or aluminum as you expected, but smaller individual shapes lashed together with some kind of cord. Maybe it's just a macabre aesthetic, but you think it looks like bones? You look back at the other designs. Now that you look at it, the sails in this one have a texture that might be leather, or similar. The sketches themselves are picked out in a variety of colors, not dissimilar from some of the brand new blood colors you've discovered lately. Oh god. Oh boy. You've been down this creepy alien road before. Using your lightest, most jocular tone, you question the bone shapes. You soften your words with a big, not freaked out smile. What's that? Well, I'm not a construction professional, you know. Gotta make use of what's available. Only cold, low-bloods and grubs, of course. Not an ounce of insurrectional spirit in this fellow over here. Fear not, unhorned one. These wacky cultural differences, you just misunderstood. You take refuge in your old standby of nodding and smiling. None of your business what body parts this fellow uses or doesn't use to make his Wright brothers' transformative fan works. Friends aren't for judging people's use of corpses as construction materials anyways. You know, when you crash landed on my planet, I had no idea what to think. Vicari, old boy, you've really shot the balls now, and that's what I told myself. Telling an alien about your flying dreams, that's ruffled the kitty, no doubt about it. But now that we're here and you're having a looky-loo at my sketches, I'm thinking it might have been the right call. Wait. I'm thinking it might have been a right for us to meet all along. Perhaps the work of a capricious Madam Destiny? Shirley is about to say that you are friends. You can almost taste those sweet friendship-affirming syllables coming from his mouth. You are just seconds away from the coveted F-word. Or are you? Maybe you have misconstrued everything. You look back down at the sketches. Bones in this one, bones in that one. He says these plans call for the bones of aliens like him? At least if you understood him correctly. But they don't really look that different from, well, the bones that you're more familiar with. Your own bones? Your bones, which have already gone through a lot today, and maybe seem to be kind of harvestable condition, if one was so inclined. You clear your throat. Haha, you say, he's not in the market for these materials right now, is he? Like right now? The friendly guy doesn't understand your question. You're not going to push it, but you do risk a quick glance at yourself, then back at him, then back at yourself, just to see if he's checking out the stuff, so to speak. The bone zone, no! When you look back at him, he looks aghast. Oops. Heavens to biscuits! Is that what you think of me? You think I'm the type to start taking people's body parts all higgledy-piggledy? As if there aren't plenty of thoughtlessly discarded rib cages to work with? If that's the type of gent you're looking for in these parts, I'm afraid I'm not the type of aggressive heartthrob you're after. We can't all be the macho, bloodthirsty, romantic hero type, ready to whip out our organ harvesting tools at a moment's notice. Where are the organ harvesting tools? We've met so many cool girls that were eager to harvest our blood and organs. Pussy? I thought we could be friends, but now I see you're looking for something different. My apologies, I think it's best if you go elsewhere. You want to correct the misunderstanding, but you're not fully sure what the misunderstanding is? This guy doesn't seem to be in any mood for friendship right now. You hang your head. Looks like this was all just a big waste of time. What the fuck? I fucked this one up so bad. This motherfucker. I swear to God. I'm gonna be your friend. Hell or high water. I fucked up every choice in this one. I hate space flight. I've never heard of airplanes before. Let's go outside looking for food. From your budding chum's words, it looks like he himself isn't sure if there's any food in the house. Best to risk it and go outside. You tell him your decision. Top choice, buckaroo. The Chad organ harvester versus the virgin troll Wright brother. Yeah. Foraging is how I while away most of my time, after all. There's just one small matter to trouble the old brain power. If we're venturing out into the unknown yonder, we should obtain some chow for my Lucis as well. He can be a real grumpy Gustav if he goes too long without his nosh. You draw yourself up proudly. It's taken a lot of bizarre run-ins and harrowing close shaves, but you know all about Lucises. You inquire about Gustav, was it? Oh, what a card you are! No, my Lucis. I call him the Canary. He whips out a photo. It shows a smaller version of himself, his horns, nothing but stubs, and a far too big pair of aviator goggles slipping off his nose. Ooh! Standing behind him is a very large white fowl, big scraggly wings folded back against its body. You want to say an emu? Whatever it is, it's definitely not a canary. Its beak touches the top of your pal's head with something that might count as affection. He's not a persnickety sort. All kinds of bugs and leaves will tickle his fancy. Shall we away? Shall we greet the horizon that rushes forward to meet us with astounding grace? Shall we give ourselves over to the current of time's great river? Sure, you tell him. You can leave the house. It's getting a lot easier to pay attention to the only the words this guy says that actually make sense. You kind of enjoy his way of speaking, though. If nothing else, it gives you the feeling that he's really excited about this food quest you're going on together. Your alien pal leads you back down through the pulley system and outside again. The trip is not so easy on your bruised ribs. The thing about walking is when you walk, your body moves. You've had much better times, is all you're saying. You indicate as much to your companion. Oh boy, I hear ya. Moving while attached to Alternia's surface is the worst kind of hooey. The moment when autonomous flight is invented trembles ever closer to the present. Can you hear it approach? The wail of a distant klaxon, the call to adventure! It beckons us forward through the years, a golden thread stretching ever onward through that glorious inevitability. That's not what you meant, but his excitement cheers you up a little. Maybe you will feel better in the future, when someone invents flight on this planet. You ask your buddy where you're going to next. The world is our bivalvular sea critter. We'll go wherever the wind calls our names. Great. But if it's a short-term answer you're inquiring after, there's a specific plant that Canary likes to eat. It's got white petals and it leaves as red as a troll's most lurid desires. Could you give a holler if your bulbs fall on something of that persuasion? You agree to keep an eye out. You continue trudging along beside him, wincing whenever your steps jolt your injuries. Maybe a little conversation will help distract you. You ask your new friend what got him so interested in flying in the first place. What could be better? Up there, free of worldly concerns, the wind in your face and the horizon at your back. Seeing the continents spread out below you. Finally feeling that your personal aesthetic is appropriate for the given circumstances. You chew over this one for a minute or two. It seems like what really makes this guy tick is the travel and adventure thing. Or maybe that's just what you're getting from his general demeanor, and pretty much everything he said up until now. You're nervous to bring up anything that might make him dislike you, but in the interest of bonding, you forge ahead. Aren't there, you say with apprehension, maybe some similarities between flying and space travel? Like, being in a spaceship could satisfy some of those urges? What? There may be some superficial similarities to trick the common troll. But in essence, the blood pressure and the soul of each is different as night and day. It has a mountain and a ditch, a star and a mud puddle. Don't get a fellow wrong, space travel is fine. Well, it's the only way to satisfy your bloodthirsty and nearly immortal overlords. And I look forward to such a time when I can be of service in the eternal millstone grind of intergalactic conquest. But it's missing the punch, the pizzazz, the kaboom, the trunk beast's hunk of it all. Just as you feared, you stepped in it now. You're struggling for a response when out of the corner of your eye you spot a cluster of white flowers. Relieved, you point them out to your companion, who races over to gather them. When he holds one up, you see it as blue leaves, not red. Your shoulders droop. Seems like all you're doing is disappointing your buddy, who's been so nice to you, or at least that's what you think you've read between the lines of his confusing speaking style. Fear not, my smooth-headed compatriot. These are not the loosest rations we sought, but this plant is people chow. What I mean to say is we can eat it, to be clear. He comes back with a fistful of flowers and hands you one of the blue leaves. You're not at all sure that food that's safe for your buddy will be safe for you as well, but at this point, you don't have much to lose. Besides, with the way your stomach is grunting, it might as well be a perfectly seared steak. You put it in your mouth. Chewing on the leaf, you feel even more affectionate to this guy than before. You were worried this trip was just turning into an excuse for him to run some kind of household errand, but he really did find you something to eat. You are desperate to find some way to show him that you understand his interests. You want to connect him on a deep soul level. Anything to get him to look at you with the treasured glow of friendship in his eyes. Whenever he mentions space travel, he talks about how it's something he has to do, some kind of necessary obligation. So maybe there's a reason he's fixated on an activity that's kind of similar, but just a little different. Maybe he doesn't want to do the required thing in the space conquests, but doesn't have it in him to rebel entirely all the way. Maybe airplane flight or whatever similar thing he's envisioning is a compromise between what he has to do and what he wants to do. A balance, like all must find, in order to live as an individual in a society that shapes one's desires from birth. You cautiously open your mouth, heart pounding. You venture to ask your pal if he maybe would rather not satisfy the demands of the bloodthirsty overlords? If maybe part of him wants to get into his flying machine and, leave? For real? He's taken aback. Maybe you should have never said it. What a huge mistake. You've probably pushed this friendship out of your reach for good now. Panicking, you point to the side, yelling that you see a big field of white flowers in that direction. Your potential friend leaps to action, seemingly also glad to be given a reason not to answer the question. He races forward in the direction you indicated. In a matter of seconds, there's a yelp, and your new acquaintance vanishes. Instantly, you realize your error. You didn't look where you were pointing. While walking, you unwittingly came close to the edge of a large cliff, which your companion has now disappeared over. Oh! He is dead. You race to the side, your stomach flooding with fear. This is absolutely the opposite of what you wanted. You look down in horror. Your friend now looks approximately how you felt when you first crash-landed on the dark planet. He's conscious, his face frozen in shock, but one leg is twisted underneath him in a nasty way. You may not be familiar with his alien anatomy, but you're almost positive that it shouldn't look like that. You call out to him in distress. Sure, he's going to castigate you for your mistake. The strangeness of his language won't make it hurt any less to lose this guy's trust forever. What-ho! Kalu Kale! Oh, joyous happening! Oh, delight for body and spirit! Did you see? Did you see? Did your being absorb what occurred before your very visage? I flew! Soared through the air. It's not flying. It's falling with style. Soared through the air just for a moment, but it happened. An ecstasy like none I've ever known. You hesitate. Is it really possible that he could be taking this so well? That maybe your big fuck-up was a step in the right direction after all? It's definitely a little worrying to hear him celebrate a dangerous fall, but none of that matters if you can secure his friendship at last. My strange associate, come on down here. We will celebrate in grand fashion this eve. How did you know that a brief sojourn through unfettered air would bring me such joy? You're a fine fellow, and truly a superb friend. Your heart lifts with joy. He said it! Of course, you now have to find some way to climb down a cliff with your messed up ribs, not to mention figuring out how to transport someone with a broken leg back to the house. You're not really sure if that's possible or when the adrenaline that's got you this far will give out and force you to succumb to your own pain. But with a night full of difficulties ahead of you, you couldn't ask for a better balm than knowing you'll face them hand in hand with your friend. Assuming he didn't hurt his hands as well. No matter, you did it! Yay! Yay! Okay, I'm gonna let that be the last chapter of today, but I'm definitely gonna revisit this game because there are sexier characters to come, and I find it very funny. And I like yelling as funny little characters, and I plan to do it as much as possible. But for now, it's midnight 01. So let's see who is online. Ooh, okay, I think I've got a good person to raid. Moral of the story is make your friends jump off cliffs. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. All right, I think we're going to go raid Goonie, because Goonie just started stream being an Australian streamer. So, perfect candidate to send some friends over. Thank you all for hanging out with me. I'm surprised that there's, like, quite a few people who came to say hi and listen to me play this funny cringe game. It's not cringe to me. It's fun. But yeah, I appreciate all your company so much. I'll probably be streaming tomorrow on Pat's channel. Just keep an eye out on Twitter to, make sure that happens. But if you don't see me before then, I'll be streaming Monday, 8 p.m. Not this, but something else. I haven't decided yet, but I'll put up a schedule this weekend on my Twitter. Yeah, I hope I get some good sleep too. I want to sleep forever. Thanks so much for hanging out. It was fun. I think there'll be some fun clips to put on Twitter as well, and I'm very excited. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. I'm gonna not have a voice tomorrow.